You should really reshoot that intro.
I should 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 reshoot that intro.
We should reshoot that intro.
Should reshoot that intro.
Yeah, that one specifically.
We should reshoot that intro.
Yep.
There, okay, I think we've hit
I think
all
we got
the-
it all.
Yeah, okay, good.
We
All
nailed
right.
it. We did it, everybody. All right. That was a triple high five. We did it. I got a
We
two.
solved that problem in real time.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
I'm Cameron.
I'm Corey.
I'm Adam. I'm a guest here.
And this week on Talking Sim, we're going to be talking about Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
Adam wants
Sure.
to rap to us.
Let's rap about Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
So tell me about this dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon is a dungeon crawler RPG slash unit management game,
Okay.
I guess is how I would describe it to
Unit
people.
management.
Unit management is in like your character, you have a roster of heroes that you can mix and match to varying degrees of potency.
Okay.
To help you take weekly delves into singular dungeons, and you take a group of 4 into it. And there's a roster of heroes that you can pick from, and there's a variety of different things that they all do, and there's a bunch of different mixing and matching. They all have like strengths and weaknesses that you can play off of each other,
Okay.
and success is dictated by successfully going into the dungeon and either like fulfilling a quest. Basically, usually there's a quest that you have to do. So you go into the dungeon. The game is measured in weeks, and every week is one delve into the dungeon.
Okay.
It
I'm
is-
gonna go hit the door.
It is very. How would I describe? It's Lovecraftian in its
Okay,
like
kind of
setting.
like cosmic horror?
Yeah, definite cosmic horror. Yeah,
Okay.
that is like definitely like its roots or what it's like initially. Maybe initially it's just more like gothic horror.
Okay.
Yeah,
But then
do you have
it
any
evolves
like
into-
experience with like Ravenloft or
No, I don't.
gothic horror in general?
But I can imagine that's what Ravenloft. Like I know
Does-
of Ravenloft, right? I've never played it, but
Does it do the same arc that kind of like Bloodborne does, where it starts off being like very gothic and then...
yes, it ramps up slowly.
And then
Yeah,
there's
that's a good
tentacles.
way of putting it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, Bloodborne's is like very very normal, kind of like a 14th century kind of like plague doctors and stuff like that kind of
Okay.
horror. But then, I mean, there's an actual plague doctor in this game, like a class. But yeah,
All right. Sounds great. Shall we just get into it and have a
Yeah.
look?
you sure should. Let's do it.
We're doing it.
So the version we have at the office is the one without all the DLC.
That's fun. You don't
Okay.
really need the DLC. We won't even get far enough in 3 hours to like crack the DLC, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We won't get that far. So, this is a game that I.
Ruin has come to our family.
I'll let everybody just watch this.
You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity. Until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Dope.
Yes.
So so Darkest Dungeon is about making the most of a bad situation. Quests will fail or must be abandoned. Heroes will die. And when they die, they stay dead. Progress auto-saves constantly, so actions are permanent. The game expects a lot of you. How far will you push your adventures? How much are you willing to risk in your quest to restore the hamlet? What will you sacrifice to save the life of your favorite hero? Thankfully, there are always fresh souls arriving on the stagecoach, seeking both adventure and fame in the shadow of the Darkest Dungeon.
Okay.
So basically the setup for even watching that setup, and I find that it does this amazing job of using very descriptive and big, for lack of a better term, big words.
Oh yeah.
Antediluvian.
Yeah, it's like,
antediluvian.
pulling
It's like,
that out.
good word.
Oh, good word. But you don't
Yeah.
feel like an idiot. Like, you don't feel like they're making fun of you for not knowing what it is. Like, it just fits into the already quick setting that they've... Everything about this game is used to, for very specific reasons, right? The language and the art and the things that characters say during the... during your adventures are setting you up or trying to craft this setting. It's getting across a very specific message that everything sucks.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Things are awful and it's hard. And I just realized, even watching that beginning intro, I'm like, wow, they use a lot of really hoity-toity words, I guess is the word I'm
Yep.
looking for.
Yep.
It's like stuff that you would make fun of for somebody for saying, but here they fit.
Right.
Right.
It suits. It establishes the character.
Yeah.
The owner of the home being somebody with probably an education,
Yeah.
and yeah.
You get that across already, that this ancestor, for whatever reason, is both educated, and even though we are led to believe that he kills himself at the end of that,
Right. At the intro.
As far as we know, that this ancestor has sent out a letter to us. We are a part of his family, and he's invited us back to the setting of this hamlet where they've discovered this portal
Right.
to a other world kind of thing, and we're supposed to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm 100% in. I also really like how the turret for what?
That's James.
Don't delete mine.
I'm not gonna delete yours.
Oh.
Usually turn off. Okay, there's a reason I turn off Musketeer is because Musketeer. I'm just gonna turn it off now, but you do have all the deal. Well, you have the Crimson Court. You don't have the Color Madness, but that's fine. Musketeer is just another class, but it's the same class as the Arbalist, which is in the game already.
Right.
But I don't play with the Musketeer because the Musketeer adds more trinkets to the trinket pool.
Oh, so it dilutes the.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just makes it a class. It gets you double the trinkets for the same class, but these show up separately. So it's
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean? They're two technically different classes.
Right.
But
Okay.
their trinkets are the same. But you need the different ones for whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah.
Is this your first estate? The Crimson Court increases the complexity and pressure of the campaign. We'll probably play with it. It is recommended for experienced players. That's fine. I'm just going to play on Darkest. I'm not going to play on
Okay.
Blood Moon. I want to show the game at its base level and just how you're
Okay,
supposed
yeah.
to,
Yeah.
how most people would approach. This is how I approached it when I first started playing.
Default. Yeah.
Okay. So, we start.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
And
Tenebrous.
even just like the words that he's using, because Wayne June is the narrator, and that's probably one of the biggest selling points of this game is that character, the ancestor that Wayne June plays. He's constantly narrating everything that you do in the game. He's a constant fixture of everything that the player does. He will comment on things that happen during the game. So like a character dies and he has a voice line, or you run across a certain fight and he has a voice line. And the story that they've set up now is that we are a relative, some kind of a relative of the ancestor.
Right.
Like us, the player, not the characters that are on the screen, but us.
Okay.
And something has happened that the ancestor's character feels like we need to redeem, right?
Okay. Yes.
Because he feels like I think it's because I don't know the story super well, but the uncovering that portal was a problem, and the ancestor feels bad about it.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And that's kind of how he's. I don't want to talk about. I don't know. What do you guys do about spoilers? Like, what is the like?
Yeah, spoilers are assumed.
Our policy
Spoilers
on
are
the stream
assumed?
is that this is a 100% spoiled stream, so that we can do things like talk about the entire.
So the way it ends up working out is like the ancestor has fooled you into coming here to release something that's been locked down into this. You travel down into that doorway is essentially the entrance to the darkest dungeon, which is a series of quests near the end of the game, and you've essentially been tricked into coming here and freeing this monster that's down there that has like basically taken over the ancestor. Is the way it
Yeah.
is.
So he's mind controlled.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
With the stagecoach destroyed and the caretaker gone, you will have to make the journey to the hamlet on foot. So already this game has like, for the setting wise, is like throwing you like, oh, something goes wrong, right? This is a good indicator of like, I mean, there's a fucking scroll at the beginning there. They're like, everything's gonna go bad. Like, things are gonna be awful. And so we're transported in, and we're given this screen. They tell us about map navigation. We've got to move. We can move around from hallway to hallway. And we look at this, and that's all we're kind of told as a player. And it's like, okay, well, you kind of want your players to. I think like the big thing. I mean, trust. Like, I'm not a game designer. Okay, I'm just going by what I see as a player.
Yep.
And when you sit down at this, you're like, okay, well, what do I do? You start clicking on things, right? And you start like, okay, well, there's torchlight, which gives me dodge and scouting and monster surprise chance. And I'm like, okay, I can move people around. Okay, there's the hallway thing they were talking about. They wanted to click on the map, and you can move to this next
run up these lanes. Keep to the side
hallway
path.
movement. While in the hallway, you can move back and
Just
forth.
ahead.
I usually use the mouse for everything. And then bang, we get our first fight.
Okay. Yeah. The bandits we saw.
Yeah.
That all may
Kill
hear
the enemy.
your
Combat is turn-based. On your hero's turn, click on a skill icon. So, like, the way the whole game works, how, like, do you guys go deep mechanically on stuff like this? Because this is where all my
sometimes,
knowledge about this game is mechanical.
Go for it.
Okay.
We will dive into the mechanics if it's what makes the game interesting.
Yes.
Fundamentally,
That is-
like, what we want to talk about here is, like, why do you love this game?
Yeah.
Right? So if it's
I mean,
all
there's a
about-
lot of reasons I love this game, but the biggest one, if this is just why I love this game, this will be easy. I was more worried about just like, I guess I did Diablo, but it was just like, it felt different.
No, yeah,
Like this game forces you to learn things as you go along. Like one of its biggest strengths is this game's ability to take someone on a blind playthrough and know that it's like it's a modern it's accepted for modern gamers just to look things up. Right. We all just look things up. I've done it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be playing a brand new game and I'll type into Google. I'll be stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Rather than
up the
figure it
wiki,
out.
Open up the wiki on a facing monitor.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then you just like figure stuff out. I feel like this game is best experienced and on an organically and just figuring it out on your own. Like when I first played through this game, I made a point of I streamed all of it. And I didn't look up how anything worked, and I just kind of wildly clicked around, and it was hard, and I liked it, but it was that game just does like they're so good at just giving the player enough rope to hang themselves with.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get into situations like that. I don't think we will, just because we're going to be playing. I'm going to be playing the game in the way it was meant to be played, with torchlight and everything.
Okay.
So anyway, we're in our first battle. We can see like both of our characters have a bunch of abilities.
And neither of those characters is you.
No, I think, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that we, the character, are an outside force, kind of like a caretaker.
Yeah.
We are not these people,
Okay.
right? We are like the general.
Okay.
It's kind of like how I guess in XCOM,
Yes,
right?
yeah, you're the commander.
commander.
Yeah.
So it's like we're like it's like the commander in XCOM. And so we're given like two of the most base characters off the bat, who are like the simplest, I guess, on paper, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
more
like
powerful in their own ways.
the art design really helps me out here, right?
Yeah.
Like, Reynold the Crusader is clearly heavily armored, right? Like that reeks of tank to me.
yeah.
And then the Highwayman.
Yes.
I'm going to assume the Highwayman does DPS.
Yeah. But it's also like very shifty, right?
Okay.
Like one of the brilliant things about this game, and we'll get into it at some point, is like when you have a full stack of party, there's a bunch of different things you can do as far as like party ordering goes, because party ordering is super important in this game.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I noticed when the brigand attacked,
Yeah.
it knocked your Crusader back
Yes.
in initiative.
And that can not initiative.
No,
just
that's party
just
placement.
Party
Position,
placement?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Initiative is okay. So initiative is a thing that's hidden. It's hidden information, and it's
Okay.
not. They never tell you how it works in this game.
Okay.
So I've looked at it. I know how it works. The way the game works on a mechanical level is every round, at the start of every round, everybody, all monsters and all heroes roll a d8,
Okay.
and then they take their speed
And they add it?
and they add that to the d8. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay,
That's how it
so
works.
that's affected by your weapon, too.
Yes.
It looks like. Okay.
Because as you upgrade your weapons, your speed base goes up too.
Okay.
Nice.
Speed is king in this game. I think that speed is probably the best stat, and it's the hardest to get, and it's a lot of things that will, when you're a new player, when I was first playing through this game, I was like, oh, speed's not that great. And then once you go onto Blood Moon and then eventually Torchless Blood Moon,
Right.
you realize how important speed is.
I guess going before your enemies get a chance to kill
Yeah.
you is...
Eliminating one enemy can make a fight so much easier.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll get there. And then every fight you're rewarded gold. As you can see, Torchlight affects a bunch of different stuff, and I can also reduce Torchlight, which I think they give you a tooltip for. But anyway, at max Torchlight, we get all these bonuses. Our characters have extra chances to dodge. We have extra scouting, which we don't know what that is yet.
Okay.
And then we have a chance to surprise monsters, which is pretty simple.
Okay.
You can see there's food. And they give us the first food tip. There's interactive objects, so every dungeon has things that you interact with. And when you're delving down to the dungeon, they are your main source of income. Fights to a lesser degree, but there's ways you can interact with these curios, is what they call them. So you can drag items to use this on an object, but we don't have anything. We can't give the tent gold, right?
Right.
So all we can do is see what's inside the tent. Some of the valuables inside the tent. Oh, there's $5,000 in there.
There is much to be found in forgotten places.
So everything you do is narrated by this ancestor who's played by Wayne June.
I really enjoy the modulation they do on his voice.
Yeah.
Where he, it's not the...
He is a
Smith
character.
thing.
He's the best character in this game.
All right.
Yeah. And I think, to an extent, he's the only character, right? Because these people don't have any personality. Well, they have personality, but they're not focused on any kind of they're not spotlighted. You know? And there are interactions between the characters that I really enjoy that we'll see. Yeah. Like I said, so I lost my train of thought. But yeah, Wayne June is definitely the overarching probably the best part of this game. As you can see, there's a bunch of different stuff that we can do. We see this fellow takes up 2 ranks of monsters. He's too wide.
Okay.
So I can't hit anything, because if you look here at the abilities,
Right.
the 2 white dots are where I can use that ability from.
Standing in your party position.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he
okay,
can only
okay.
use smite. This is why party position is important, and that sometimes getting shuffled is bad, because it can stop your party from being able to do anything. And there's certain classes that they can only attack from the front 2 rows. So
Okay.
if they get shuffled straight to the back, then they're completely useless.
Right,
And
so-
then you're wasting time because like there's a thing in this game called move economy, and move economy is like, if you can stun 2 things at once, that's essentially taking 2 turns away from the monsters while
Right.
using only 1 of your turns.
Okay.
Right.
I was going to say that like having your position shuffled by damage might result in like if you can get like stun locked effectively. But if stun is like
There is
another
stun. There
turn
is
in
a
the game,
there is a
yeah.
stun in the game, but which I'm going to show. Like he has an ability called Stunning Blow.
Right.
And Stunning Blow, I guess like when you're looking at this, you're not thinking about this as a brand new player, right? But I'm just
Right.
going at this from I'm just trying to explain how the game works because going forward, I won't have to talk about it anymore.
I imagine that's what this is for, right? Like just get in there, try all your abilities, see
Yeah.
what they do.
And like he has an ability called Stunning Blow. It says stun 100% base. They don't explain what that means yet, I think, but I'll explain it. If you look at monsters, he has a stun of 50%. That's his resistance. So you minus the whatever your stun chance is from their resistance. So I have
Okay.
essentially a 50% chance to stun if I hit.
Okay.
The hero to hit is 90%. On the UI, to hit chance caps out at 95%, but it actually goes to 100%.
Okay.
Even when it says like it's actually 100. So that hits. Yeah, it's done. Easy
All
game.
right.
So taking like not only did I do damage, but I took a turn away from this monster, right? Which is important.
Yeah. Like if they can't go, they can't kill you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Cam was talking about with like the stun lock, because it costs you move to
Yes.
get your characters back in a position.
Getting moved is like really bad. Okay. What was that? What the
Bleed?
fuck is
Bleeding.
what is this? Stress? I have a bleed?
Oh.
What's the stress?
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I wanted to ask about this.
They
before
don't
when it
talk
came
about
out- came
they
out.
don't talk about stress until you hit your first affliction, I think. But stress is essentially another health bar
Okay.
mechanically. From a
It's right below your health bar, mechanically.
yeah. From like a flavor standpoint, it makes sense though because you're sending these adventurers into these very stressful situations, and you're expecting, you're almost like you've hired a bunch of temps and you're asking them to do high-profile jobs at a
Okay.
corporation, right? And
Right.
they're just they're like, well, I'm in over my head. I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
Right.
I've
Right.
barely been around. Like when these new adventurers get into these dungeons, they don't have all the abilities that they normally they end up having because the power growth in this game is very noticeable, and it's there's big jumps that happen as far as like from a mechanical standpoint of where your party is powerful. What are they all saying? What to?
I don't know.
They're saying what to the comment about Pornhub
Oh.
from Rabonk's sake.
Okay. But yeah, stress is like. At first, it seems like a very unfair thing when you're playing this game. It's like I don't understand how it works. My party is like taking all this stress damage. I don't have any way to heal it.
Right.
And the game slowly introduces ways to deal with stress. But when they first throw you into the shit, you don't have a lot of these classes, and like classes that heal stress. They never highlight when this game is like first introducing you to it. They never highlight like why abilities are important.
Right.
They tell you this is stress and this is how it works.
Okay.
They don't explain every ability and how it works.
Okay.
Like with your characters, there's not a tooltip for every time that you come into a character. Like you get like a new one you'll see in the stagecoach. They just don't explain anything. They just let the player figure it out.
Okay.
So they are telling me about corpses. So when most monsters die, they leave a corpse. Corpses act as temporary obstacles and will eventually go away on their own. You can attack corpses, destroy them faster, but often a better approach is use range skills, push-pull skills, and even corpse-clearing special skills that some heroes possess.
Huh.
Monsters killed with bleed, blight, or crits leave no corpse at all.
Okay.
So you can use corpses strategically then.
You can. There is ways to use them, especially on like torchless runs, where you use the corpses to do what they call stalling.
Okay. Right.
But I don't think I'll need to get into that at any point.
Okay.
But corpses are generally
just in your way.
in your way. They're an obstacle for the player, and they're not really like usable by you. Sometimes you can leave. There are certain fights which I will get to at some point where you want to leave corpses. So see this corpse is in the way now, and I can't hit this. With
Okay.
Reynold, I can't hit. None of his abilities hit the third row.
Okay.
So all I'm left doing is either I could cast Bulwark of Faith, which is mark target, which I don't know what that does, but it also buffs self 20% prod. I don't know if they let you know what prod is. Prod is essentially damage reduction.
Okay.
Protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can see here that Dismiss actually has a pistol shot that
They
he can
can
hit
hit.
the back 3 rows with. He does 25% damage versus marked targets, and he's got a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
He's got a Grape Shot Blast, which is basically an AoE, but it has like low
Damage.
low accuracy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you can see the accuracy is 75, so I think it's 75%, whereas these accuracy bases are 95 and 85,
Okay.
which is easier to hit with. So like AoE abilities generally have a lower accuracy base than most of the normal ones.
Annihilated.
Sometimes you
Just-
I
you just
never
gap
miss.
them.
Yeah, you just sometimes you just blat.
Foolish horrors.
You completed a quest. After you complete the requirements of the quest, you have the option to return to town at any time. Just click the crest. You don't need to return to the starting room of the dungeon to exit.
Sweet.
Nice. Okay.
So this game
Well-
was like, well, there's a treasure chest here, right? Like, this game does stuff like this to you on purpose, and that it says bandits trap chest. Something doesn't look quite right about this one. The game
Okay.
gives you every warning in the world, like, hey, don't click this. But
Okay.
if you click it without a key, because you need a key to open up chests. We don't need a key to open it, but if you have a key and use a key on it, then any traps or any things that are wrong with it won't happen.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you'll
Yeah.
get a
yeah.
benefit, and you'll get loot out of it.
Or you can
Yes.
take a risk and just open it.
Yes. That chest is always trapped.
Oh, now he's blighted.
Yes. Now I got blighted, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to leave this dungeon,
Okay.
and it doesn't mean anything because blight damage only ticks when you're moving.
Okay.
But anyway, this is just another thing of this game telling you like, hey, this is trapped. Don't click it. And then you click it, and they're like, dumbass, and then
Right.
they
But
teach you a lesson, right?
But that's horror.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're always. It's no good if you don't go into the haunted house.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what makes it interesting. I really love like the focus on improvisation and learning as you go because that's also a big element of horror, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to kind of like figure it out as you're there.
Yeah, that's one of the most. That's why I highly advise the first time you play through this game, try to go through it as blind as possible and just figure it out as you go along because there is just like there's so much here to learn. Let me get to this victory screen where we find all the money that we found, any heirlooms, and then there's this. So they both reach level 1, and at the end of every dungeon,
Oh.
your characters have a chance to get both positive and negative quirks.
Okay.
So the red ones are negative, and these ones are generally positive. Sometimes there are some negative quirks that aren't that bad; that are actually good. But there's also some that, depending on how you're playing, are good and bad too. Like not all of these are useful to you.
Okay.
Like diurnal -2 speed of torch below 26. So we're like, okay, well, I know that speed is good.
Right.
But as long as I stay above 26 torchlight, then I don't have to worry about that at all. Cove Tactician does 15% damage in the Cove. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that is. Also, he does 15% damage versus Eldritch now, and he has minus 15% stress versus Eldritch.
Okay.
Which is handy.
Yeah.
In some
Yeah.
way. It's just numbers, right? Like, it's just like the way that they presented information to you is. It feels overwhelming at
Welcome
first,
home,
but they're very
such as
good
it
at like
is.
just segmenting stuff.
Like they're very
Yeah,
consistent
Yeah,
and
they're-
they
Interrupted
use the
lands.
same terminology.
Yeah,
You're
but also
bound.
they piecemeal
And
it to
you
you
are
too,
bound
right?
to.
In
Yeah.
this game, it's just like the way that. What did we learn in that first, like even just the first Old Town Road? We learned that Reynold can only hit like the front 2 rows, and it looks like he hits a bit harder, and he's a holy warrior, and he can stun things. Dismiss is like a rogue, and he can shoot things that are in the back line, and he can also put bleeds on enemies, which is like very the rogue fantasy kind of
Right,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
learned that, like even in that little space, we learned that looting things is good. We learned that not looting everything is good if we're not prepared to deal with it.
Okay.
We learned that leaving corpses is bad, and that it can make things very awkward. And if we're just killing things like at random,
Right,
then it can
without-
cause problems for us.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Not only is you have to kill your opponents, but you have to do it with a mind to what the consequences of that are.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like you are given all of this information, but it feels very segmented, and it's like they've given us a lot of information, but they've been very good at being like bing bing boom, and here it is. And here's these 3 things that we want to get across. It's like, here's your party, this is how 2 of them work together, this is how monsters work, this is how damage works, and this is how looting works.
Yeah, and also because it's turn-based, you get a lot of time to think about your actions.
You have
and
all the
plan.
time in the world to think about everything.
Yeah.
There's no rush. There's never like as far as like, they never give you like a timer, like a rope timer, you know, like in card games and stuff.
Yeah.
There's not like a, it's kind of like why Slay the Spire is so good too. It's right. It's like, it just lets you,
Yeah.
it lets the player play at their own race,
Yeah.
or their own pace, sorry.
Right, and like that's one thing I really loved about XCOM,
Yeah.
where it gives you all the time in the world to plan out your turns, and then it also gives you all the time in the world to sit there going like, I have fucked this up
Yeah.
Yep.
3 turns ago,
Yeah.
and now all these people are going to die.
Yeah. There's times where you'll be playing this game and you'll be like, oh, someone will die. And be like, okay, well, where did I go wrong?
Yeah,
And it's like, did I just get crit twice in a row and then it's out of my hands? Generally not. This
Yeah.
game is like, it feels very, on the surface, it looks very unfair, but that's only because you didn't know going in ahead of time what to be prepared for. So anyway, they asked about the help menu, and so we're given this, and this is our little hamlet that they talked about in the opening.
right.
There's all these question or these exclamation points, and they can
In
kind of.
time, you will know the tragic extent of my
This is
failings.
just all the old
videos and stuff.
videos that we can saw, the
Okay.
memoirs. So we can watch like the old road video again. There's also all of this stuff, the Brigade 8 Pounders, and we don't know what any of this means, right? This is all just gobbledygook to us. But I'll tell you, these are all bosses, and these are all clips that play every time you go into one of the dungeons that contain these bosses.
Do you always have the same dungeons? Like, is it always the same progression through the game?
You'll see.
Okay.
We go in here. It's a nomad wagon.
Trinkets and charms gathered from all the forgotten corners of the
You
earth.
can level up stuff, but we'll get to that in a second. There's a graveyard that just
Most
shows
will
these
end
are
up
where
here,
people, when people die, they
covered
go
in
here.
the poisoned earth, awaiting
Like a
merciful
graveyard.
oblivion.
Graveyard, yeah. Okay, Stagecoach is your hero lifeblood. You'll need to recruit all these heroes to fill out a party of 4. So we know already that we get 4. I was like, wow, we get 4?
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah.
will find their way to us now that the road is
So
clear.
they give us immediately a Vestal and a Plague Doctor. A Vestal, even we can tell looking at it, looks like a cleric.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most people will just be like, oh, healer. And that's exactly what she is.
Right.
She is a healing class. And if you look at her abilities, she's got like Judgment, which is ranged, self-heal 3 hit points. She's got a mace bash. So he's like the cleric archetype, right? Plop her in there. We also got a Plague Doctor,
Pious
which
and unrelenting.
I'm assuming
looks-
poisoner.
Poisoner. Yeah. That's essentially, most people would be like, oh, a poisoner. And if you look at her abilities, Plague Grenade, yeah, it's got Blight. So I'm assuming the Blight is poison, right?
Well, yeah, because we got Seed Light.
Better
Yeah,
laboratory
And this
than
says,
the
already,
blood-soaked
it gives you,
battlefield.
it already gives you like the hints that, or the tutorials in this game are so good. It's like, hey, you should upgrade the Stagecoach. That's important. When you're here, spend some time, or some of your starting heirlooms on upgrading the Stagecoach network. This will increase the number of heroes available here in the future. So like, they don't tell you exactly what to do, but it's strongly hinted like, I want to increase the number of heroes available in the future. So what do I want to do? It's like, well, increases the number of available heroes to 3. And I can make my size 13. Well, I know that making this bigger isn't going to do anything because I only have 4 heroes, right?
Right. But having more heroes to
Choose from is important, right? We can already tell that we're just like, well, if I have more to choose from, then that just means I can probably make more powerful party compositions. This is true. And like the way I play it, like Torchless Blood Moon, you have to upgrade this twice. And they don't tell you this right away, but I'll just do this anyway. You can trade in your crests
Oh.
Okay.
for other ones. Generally, busts aren't that useful, and I need like 1 deed, so I'll just probably do that, and then I can. So now I'm gonna get 4
can be
heroes.
found even here.
Okay.
Per-
So
In the mud
when you
and
suffer
rain.
casualties, you'll be able to have a better chance of finding someone who can fill that
Yeah.
slot.
And I mean, like, if you're gonna really stop and think about it, like most people, like I didn't think about this when I first started playing because I rushed through video games too much sometimes. But the developer has given you every chance to realize how important this is. The opening crawl was like, things suck, people are gonna die, you're gonna need to replenish your forces. you get into the opening movie and they're like, things suck. You're being attacked by bandits. The wagon wheel broke. And now things have gone wrong once again. And then you're stuck with 2 party members instead of the usual 4. Right? You're already asked off the beginning of this game to operate at 50%. And so knowing what I know now, and then, yeah, it's obvious to me. When I first started playing this game, I just didn't think about it enough, but they give you every opportunity to like, oh, this is important. I should probably think about this. And that's something that I'm trying to do more with games is like, why are they making me do this?
Right.
It's like, what have they told me in the first 5 minutes of the game? And what direction is the developer trying to send me in? Rather than just being like fumbling my way around and being like getting to that state that most people get into when they play a game and they'll lose immediately and they'll be like, well, this game sucks, I quit. Rather than just being looking at like, what's the information that they are presenting to me? And I feel like this game is very good at that. They've given you these, if you take a second to just stop and look at it as a whole, the information presented in this game is like top notch, right? It just it all makes sense.
I mean, that's something similar to what Dark Souls does when you get to Firelink Shrine.
Yeah.
Doesn't explain anything.
Yeah.
But it's giving you like information just in ways that isn't like, it's not having anyone explain it to you.
Yeah.
But like, it's telling you that there are areas of the game that you can access right off the bat that are too hard for you.
Yep.
And you don't suffer really very many consequences for like beating your head against it. Right? Like, and like if you go into the graveyard or you go into New Londo, right?
Yeah.
Those areas where you can die repeatedly and you're like, well, this sucks, but you know, you also learn the lesson that maybe death isn't that bad. Right? That anyway.
Can
No,
you,
no, no,
can
this is
you
the game at
target
hand.
anywhere over leveled at the start? Can you be like, I want to
Not,
fight bad
and
things?
they're very good about that. They don't let you really. You kind of can't. Once people start gaining some levels, then yeah, you can get into areas that you're too low level
So
for.
it is set up a lot more like Slay the Spire, where there's kind of like
There's a progression.
tiered-
Yeah, there's tiers of the way the game works is that I'll show you. So embark. There isn't much more for you to do in town right now. It's time to embark on a quest.
Okay.
Click on the embark button at the bottom of the screen. So we click on this.
A mecca of madness.
They already tell us here there's quests. This is where you select a quest to form an adventuring party of 4 heroes to embark on it. Click on the quest to see their details. Drag the heroes to the slots at the bottom of the screen to form your party in default party order. So they've given us one quest. We're going into the ruins. All we know is it's short. Our goal is to explore 90% of the rooms
Right.
and test yourself in the mad realm of your fallen ancestor. Take note of how the creatures have taken over, but don't delve too far.
Okay. Because I noticed we can also, there's another icon highlighted.
Yep, it sure is. So Darkest, level 6. We can go right into this Darkest dungeon right away. So
Right.
there is like a
Oh,
chance.
and your characters at the bottom are like, oh,
yeah.
no.
The characters are like, that's one of the things that I feel like not a lot of people talk about, but I really liked about this game when I was first playing it. And I know it's weird for me because I'm admittedly not like a story or lore person when I play video games, but I do notice it. It's just I generally don't comment on it. But these adventurers don't like each other. That's the most brilliant thing about this game. All of these people don't trust each other.
Right.
They're just mercenaries that you're hiring and you're sending into these very uncomfortable situations. And you can see it when they interact with each other, especially at the campsite when you camp on longer dungeons.
Yeah.
They say things to each other like, you know, like, I don't trust so-and-so or whatever. Like, I'm just like, I'm keeping my eyes on you, especially when they're getting stressed out, right?
Okay.
And as characters get stressed out, I didn't really talk about what happens when the stress fills your bar, but we'll probably get there at some point today. So I'm going to put this in. So look, she doesn't even want to go. I mean, like, they don't want to go there. So you're like, automatically, you're like, okay, well, we're not going to go into the Darkest Dungeon. We're just going to stick to this level 1 dungeon, right? Yeah, there used to be, they've changed it since then, but there were certain classes that didn't
want to party up.
Yeah, didn't want to party up. There's a class called the Abomination, which is a dude in shackles, and the whole thing is he can turn into a monster. So, like, physically turn into, like, he turns into a big demon with
So
horns
like
and
your
stuff.
cleric or your monster killer would probably not.
The cleric refused to party with the Abomination because they were an act against God,
Right.
basically. Or the Crusader wouldn't go in with
Right.
them. So you'd have to, like... But they've changed that since then, and I think that the game just got better. Sure, it lost a little bit of flavor, but mechanically it just became more interesting.
Yeah.
You just got to do more things. Because people were like, well, I can't play this Abomination with, you know, the Vestal, who's admittedly the best healer. and it just kind of sucks. It's like a feel bad moment, right? Like,
Right,
it's
right,
like,
right.
It makes sense from what the game is trying to convey as far as the setting and everything else. Like, yeah, it's dark and it's shitty, and nobody like this priest isn't going to want to hang out with a dude that can turn into a monster, right?
Right, right.
But from a player standpoint, which is mostly my standpoint, is like it feels bad. It's like,
Right.
I want to
Well,
use
yeah.
all these classes.
Yeah,
that they give
because
me.
I imagine the effect of that is that you just never use the abomination.
Yes, because the developer had just spent the first 20 minutes of this game telling us things suck, people are going to die, use everything at your disposal, and
Right.
then they tell us that we can't use certain party members together.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense,
No.
right?
Yeah,
From
yeah.
a player standpoint, I'm like, I don't like that. I think I'll pass. So we've assembled our first party. It says Red Hook here. There are party compositions that change depending on
Oh.
like if people are, what order they're in and which party members you have. It's just a fun
Interesting.
little thing
Okay.
that actually doesn't do anything. It's just a purely cosmetic thing. That's
Huh.
put in.
So this is just our initial lineup?
Yeah. So like I know like even just like before you go on, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to look at like where do I want to put these people? Because now I have 2 extra people to put into this party, right? And I'm already looking. They give you a little
Her
indication.
abilities seem pretty agnostic.
A preferred position. So he wants to be in the front 2. Highwayman likes to be in the second 2. Hers or wherever, it doesn't look like it really matters. To be able to heal, she has to be in the back too. And I'm like, well, I want my cleric to be able to heal, right?
Right.
And she has an ability that she can use in the back, so we're going to keep her somewhere back here. Now it looks like this third position is highlighted stronger than everything else for the Plague Doctor, because they can Plague Grenade, they can Incision, they can heal. They can heal very small, but also cure bleeds and blights, and they also have a buff. They can give someone 20% damage through
Okay.
and +3 speed. These abilities are locked, which they haven't told us anything about. We're just like, oh, I guess these are my abilities, and that's pretty much it. It's +5. Let's give that. So yeah, we're just gonna go into the ruins. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah. Have a look
Oh.
around. We were invited.
Provision for the journey. You want to take different supplies depending on what region you're going to, how long the quest is, and your own preferences. But always bring some food and torches. This is for your first short quest. Try bringing at least 8 food and 4 torches. So this is like the first time the game has given us any like very specific instructions, which
Okay.
feels kind of weird, but I think for the long run it pays off for the player.
All right.
But it just like it sticks out, right? Because like they've spent this time like not explaining, just like being like, here, just play the game.
Right.
And
Like,
now they've
my
given us-
first impression would be to not do what it said right there. I'd be like, that sounds like a lot. Those
sounds-
numbers are very high.
Yeah.
My first impression is like 16 torches, 8 food.
Yeah.
Minimum. Can we
I think
grind
that's
anywhere?
I think that's
right?
most players like you fall into that like, oh, I'm gonna and you overcompensate a lot in this game.
Right.
Like I still do it. I've put like 500 hours into this game. Like I'll still bring too much. I'll probably bring too many torches because I don't play with torches. But they said 8 food. So if we buy 8 food, we want a couple shots. I know how this works. So but like
Okay.
if I was, I'm trying to put myself into the brainwave of a new player and what they would do. I was gonna do what I do, and then we'll just talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
You've got a big gold pile. It's fine.
and then they said 4 torches.
They said 4.
Okay, well, let's see 4. Let's follow their instructions.
Yeah, I think I would probably try to bring one of everything just to see what it does.
Yeah.
right? But like, yeah.
How much space do we have? Can
We
we,
have
just fill all of that
this.
slot?
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah,
this
can we
game,
grab one of everything?
We can grab one of everything. Oh. There we go. It's one of everything. So we've grabbed one of everything for whatever reason. We've got all our torches. We're all ready to go. We can embark. Your first expedition into the ruins of your ancestry. Be curious. Be careful. So there we go. So already we can tell. Look, at these people are already stressed out.
Yeah,
It's like,
wow.
why
okay.
isn't he stressed out? But like, the way the game works mechanically is characters that are a lower level of the dungeon that they're going into automatically get 20 stress.
And they're
right off
level
the bat.
0?
They're level 0. These
Okay.
two are level 0. These two are level 1. So he only has the stress that he had going into the dungeon. And since Dismas
Leveled up.
is level 1, he doesn't get any stress going into a level 1 dungeon.
Out of curiosity, is it always Reynold and Dismas?
Yes.
Okay.
Always Reynold and Dismas, they always have the same starting
Okay.
These two are the only ones that always have the same starting. He's always God-fearing. He's always a klepto. And he's always a warrior of light.
Okay.
There's a meme of Reynold will steal. Klepto has. It adds to the. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the flavor of the world where everything's not going to go right all the time.
Right.
Sometimes your characters are going to interact with things that you don't want them to. It's like having a child. Like you have you have a toddler and you're like, don't fucking touch that, and they're like, what's that? And then they touch
Right,
it, and you're like,
right.
what the fuck,
So
Reynold?
that doesn't like apply to battle. That's like if you come across a
Only
tent
on-
or loot or something.
The only time it comes into combat or contact with, there are some quirks that do that in battle. They're rare, but also when your character gets too stressed out,
Yeah.
they have the chance to act on their own. And I didn't
Oh,
really
okay.
talk about stress and why stress was important. I just said that it's like a second health bar. When stress reaches 100, your character rolls the dice for an affliction or a virtue.
Okay.
Virtue chance is 25% base, just for everybody. Before there are certain traits or that can lower or raise that, both positive and negative. And then obviously a 75% chance to get an affliction. Afflictions are bad. They generally stop your character from acting in certain ways. They take the control out of the player's hands and make them either they'll stress everyone out around them, or they'll do things on their own, or they'll just pass their turn, which is
Okay.
stressful enough for the. It's like the player as your character's stress level rises, your stress level rises, and I feel like that's such a wonderful connect for the player to get attached to these characters. And that's like the stress level is one of the reasons that I think Darkest Dungeon is the best stream game on the planet. From
Okay.
a streamer's perspective.
Okay.
And that because you can rename all of your characters. And I think this is brilliant. Like, so you rename your characters into people that are in your Twitch chat, it gives this sense of like, there's
Right.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Investment?
Yeah, there's an investment from the audience, right? Not only from the player standpoint, but even I could rename this character. Like, I could just be like, oh, that's Cameron. Like, you know what I mean? Oh,
Uh-oh.
that's Cameron. And it's like, oh, good little Cameron.
Yeah.
Love Cameron. But
Everyone
if
loves Cameron.
if Cameron ever dies, I'm like, fuck, I killed Cameron. Now I feel awful. Like,
So
there's
you're,
just
you're
like
watching like the health bar go down and the stress bar go up,
up.
and
Yeah.
you're like,
Just-
Cameron.
like such a simple thing from a video game. It's like, oh, you can name the characters. Like, oh, it's such a normal like, but I think it's because you are this outside force influencing everything that's going on, and like, oh, I've named this character. Oh, I've sent this party into
Right.
this dungeon. This is my fault, and what happens to them is kind of on me, right? Like, I
Yeah,
don't want,
yeah.
I want them. Their successes are my successes, and their failures are my failures.
Yeah.
Right. And there's just like this instant weird kind of like, I don't know if it's just the art and everything and the way it's displayed, coupled with the fact that we can name them, and coupled with the fact that there are these like very like personality giving quirks. Like,
Yeah.
we know Cameron is a thief.
Yeah.
Right. We already know Cameron is prone to stealing things, and that's
God,
just like
Cam.
automatically gives you an idea of what kind of person this player would be, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, everyone's had like a D&D party where someone has stole something when they
Yep.
shouldn't have. And it's like, what the fuck, Cameron? Why did you steal that thing? And they're like, I don't know, I just felt like doing it.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know what
I
to tell
wanted
you."
it, and it
Yeah.
wasn't mine, so I took it.
Yeah. So we've already like, so we've got Torchlight. We know how to travel hallways. So there's a forced interaction. Why did that happen?
If only
They don't do a good
pleasure
job of
could
explaining
stop
that.
the flow.
But if we look at this,
Oh,
we can
curious.
tell that the
The
Vestal is
character would
curious.
have done that. Yeah.
The character is like, well, I've got to know, and they even said they're like, I have
Yeah.
to know what's in here, and you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? No, don't touch that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, well, it's like an Alien,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Kane is curious.
Yeah.
Right? He's
Don't
like,
put your face near the egg.
yeah, yeah. That's essentially what it is, and I just think that that's such a nice touch as far as like us, the babysitter, being like, you idiot, like, you idiot, I'm trying to save you.
yeah.
And you're actively stopping me from being able to get you through this safely, right? It's like, stop it, you moron.
Now, yeah, like, somebody in chat pointed out, this is The Sims.
Yeah, it's
Right,
The Sims.
like-
It's just, that's all it is. It's The Sims. It's like, I have sent this party down into this dungeon, and I am now responsible for them, for good or for bad.
And these are the first supernatural monsters we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
they're
Like, the
skeletons.
bandits are like, okay, whatever, you
Bandits
know.
are bandits.
Yeah, bandits are bandits. But, these are undead.
Yeah. And what do we know about undead? Well, if we look at them right now, we can see their bleed resist is 200%. So
Okay.
that means we're never making them bleed.
And they're unholy.
They're unholy, yes. So it looks like Dismas only has he
Bleed.
has a bleed move and he has a pistol shot.
Okay.
Knowing what I know about this game is I know that even if just like you look at this, you see that the bleed move still has a 95% chance to hit though.
Right.
And
So
if I'm going to pistol shot, there's a 90%. So it's like, I mean, I'm going to take the. I know they're immune to bleeding, but it's like I want everything to hit.
Right.
So I'm
But
just
you
gonna
wouldn't do the AoE because of the lower chance to hit.
Yeah, I could look at this and see it's 80% to do, and you can see the damage. It's like 80% to hit both. I mean, that's still pretty high, right?
Yeah.
For 3 to 5 damage.
Yeah.
But I can also just 5 to 9 at 90%, or 5 to 9 at 95%.
yeah, and as an XCOM player,
You want to take the percentage.
yeah, like there, when I was playing XCOM, there were 2 modes in which you would
Continue
attack,
the onslaught.
right? The 97% hit,
Destroy them
which you spent a lot of time setting up to try to get,
The wounds of
and then
war
the
can be
30% like
Well, let's see.
never
you got to roll the dice sometimes.
See, this is such a
right?
good fight too initially because it lets you. It gives the players. It's almost like luring you into a false sense of security because both these skeletons have 1 speed. Your whole party is usually going to get to go first,
Right.
Right, and you're just like, oh, first fight, and then your 4 party members find these 2 fucking skeletons chilling by themselves in the
Right,
dungeon.
you
You're
just-
like,
Yeah,
and you just give them. They caught hands, right? And you're
Right.
like, this is easy. This
yeah,
game
you
is
just stand
great.
around them in a circle, going, "Gonna cry, gonna cry, gonna cry, gonna cry."
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This game just does stuff like that all the time, where it's like, oh, this is easy, right? Like you can do this. Like, okay, so this is an unlocked strongbox. Long forgotten strongbox sits on the cold stone floor. Its contents unknown. So I know. Because I've played this game a billion hours, is that when it says unlocked, I don't have to do anything to
Right.
this. But most players will try out these different things. Like you can drag an item here to use it on this object, and you would probably just like try stuff
Okay.
and just figure out. What
And it uses
sticks.
it up?
Yeah,
It's
it
gone.
uses it up. It's gone.
No.
Yeah, it's gone. Completely gone. But I know that since it's unlocked, I
Finding
can.
the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
So like Wayne June just like narrates everything. It's like, well, you found all this treasure. It's like, well, okay, so you found all this stuff. How are you going to take it back? And that's just
Right.
a way of driving home that inventory management is so important in this game. It's like, okay, well, what do I decide is important enough to bring back with me, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's
no,
something as simple as a voice line. This game just like it does things in such a very concise and what's the word like obtuse
or
obtuse way, or like am I thinking of the wrong word? Like
Obtuse
just
would
like
be like confusing.
okay, not an obtuse way, but like a very like clean description is like, okay, here's this Wayne June voice line. It's like you need to decide what's important and what you want to take back with you out of this dungeon. It's up to you to decide what that is, right?
right.
It's like they give me things like portraits, and I know gold's important, right? Because people
Yeah,
know that gold. We know that portraits and deeds and busts are used for upgrading the town, which I also think is important.
I think there was also an implication that your party has to live in order to carry the items back.
Yes. Yeah. There's like it's like, hey, you might not make it out. Like,
Yeah. How are you going to carry this if you're dead?
yeah, exactly. So okay, so we didn't do this thing called scouting, but I'll wait till we do that until we get to it. And even you can just tell, like, look at the art.
Well,
like
that's
the way
not
the game-
normal.
Yeah. So like we found a pile
Even
of
the
rubble.
cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
It's like the dungeons themselves are a personality.
Right. I was going to actually.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask
Yeah.
about that. Like, the ruin,
Yes.
right, seems to have its own agency.
Yes. Every different dungeon that we're going to go into today, and I'm going to try to hit all 4, or 5, I guess the Crimson Cord's technically 1, have their own personalities, not only from like aesthetically, but also mechanically. They all behave different, a little bit different mechanically in the enemies that they present to you, and also what abilities are good and what abilities are also just bad. Because there's going to be a lot of times that you're going to take like a character who is, there are characters that are really good in the ruins that are very bad in some of the other dungeons.
Okay. Okay.
But there's times where the player is gonna be like, I like the Plague Doctor. I'm gonna try to take a Plague Doctor on every party. And then you're gonna go into a dungeon with the Plague Doctor and be like, wow, they can't do anything.
Right.
Because everyone's like super resistant to blights, right? I mean, she has stuns, so it doesn't really like. So this is one of the few curios that automatically tells
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
So
you'll
it's
need a
already-
shovel to get through.
Yes. So they already know within the first 5 minutes of doing this dungeon, oh, shovels are going to be important going forward. We can see my torchlight's going down. So as the torchlight goes down, you can see, well, now there's these new things up here. And it's like in the red. So I guess as the torchlight goes down, the monsters get stronger. So
Okay.
we get more stress as the dungeon gets darker, and the monsters crit more. But I want to fix it. If I want to fix that, I simply use the torch. And I'm back to like, there's a number here. Usually above, I think it's above 75. Torchlight is kind of where you want to hover.
Right. So when you did your torchless blood moons,
Yes.
you just kind of like accepted the consequences of having low torchlight.
Yes.
Are there any benefits?
The only benefits are your characters get 3% crit, and you find 10% more loot.
Okay.
So it's not
not
worth it.
great.
It's not great.
Yeah.
So, and then the monsters do more damage, they crit more, you take more stress, and you have a higher chance of being surprised.
Okay.
So right away we see, okay, well we know what the skeletons do. This skeleton has a sword, so that looks a little bit more dangerous. But what is this? There's an acolyte back there. It's like I don't even know what that does. Their speed is 7. That's
Yeah,
nutty.
like they
A
attack
stressful
right away.
incantation.
Yeah, I'm gonna let her attack. So I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I know that the skeletons are dangerous and they're easy to kill, so I think I would try to kill them first, right? And this is where the game first kind of like not punishes you, but shows you how dangerous some of these. Wow, we all went. Oh, did they go already? Did I miss that? Yeah, I completely missed that. Who did they hit? What did they do? I wasn't even
She
paying
went
attention.
right away and
Yeah.
attacked. I want to say somebody in your back ranks.
Oh, okay. Did she miss? I'm trying to see what she. So we stun this. I want to see. I want to let her go.
Oh, cultist missed.
Oh, she missed.
Another
Hate to see it happen.
cleansed from our lands.
So we can see. Oh, we stress healed from that crit. Okay.
Oh.
Somebody, you need to do something. My party's winning all these speeds. Okay. Oh, they're just pushing. Okay.
Ew.
Generally, there are enemies in this game that are better at dealing stress damage than health damage.
Okay.
This character is one of them.
Okay, that
And
sounds
this-
extremely dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous because you never want to lose control of your characters. And it's also, we have no way of healing stress.
Right.
We don't know. We know that health can be healed. It's like, what do I do about stress? It feels like it's this thing that this game does where it throws this stress damage at you and then gives you no way to deal with it. And you're like, well, this is dumb. It's like, how am I supposed to deal with this? And eventually you unlock more skills and more characters and you realize, okay, if
But
I want
that's
to be able to
advanced. That's like you have to like make it to that point first.
Yes, and I think that that's a thing that this game does really well is that they give you this problem and no way to fix it and just make you play through it because it sucks and it's shitty.
And it's actually mechanically locked. It's not just a lack of knowledge on
Yeah.
the player's part.
It's mechanically locked, but it feels like you miss something. You know what I mean? There's that thing where you're like, well, what did I miss? And it's like, I don't understand what I missed. I don't understand what's going on. So we killed this thing without taking any stress damage. It's pretty sweet. It's actually really nice.
Game easy.
Game's easy.
like in I keep coming back to XCOM, but
So we've scouted.
okay.
Oh, we crit scout.
Ooh.
So scouting is important in this game, and just that you don't realize how powerful it is until you do, I guess, is the best way that I can think of putting it.
Okay.
Knowing first of all, if you've scouted an area, your characters can't be surprised.
Okay.
They can't be shuffled when we first start the fight, and that's why scouting is so important. That's something they don't tell you, and that's just kind of one of those game knowledge things that's just hidden away. Like, but scouting is like, not only do I get to see traps, which I normally don't get to see if I don't scout the hallways. I'm gonna do the way things that I normally do, and it's like, well, I'd like to get all. I'm also trying to clip, or I'm trying to proc Kleptomaniac to show you what that looks like. The light is fading. The current torch level greatly affects many mechanics in the game. The darker it gets, the harder things get, but the better the rewards. Right-click on the torch from the inventory to boost the light back up. we didn't get a klepto proc, so that's
A
sweet.
fortune waiting to be spent.
It's just, I don't know, it's just the little things that
Little
Wayne
flavor.
Jin-
Yeah.
little flavor things. So we've just been told that we don't want our torchlight to dip. They did tell us 4, so we're getting kind of low.
Yeah.
But I think that's all, like, on purpose. Like, you want to get to the end of the dungeon with, like, barely any supplies left. Like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
the most-
really kind
yeah.
of, like, pushing this party forward almost against their will. It's
Right.
like, it's getting dark. They'll give you warnings, too. Like, hey, pretty dark down here. We're getting kind of stressed. Like, no, it's fine. Just keep going. Right? It's like, we're on intercoms with our party. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's fine. Just
You're
keep going.
almost at the end.
Yeah.
So there's more cultists that can do the pushing and the stress.
Yes. Well, we can actually look at all their abilities right there. It says Eldritch Push, they can do Stressful Incantation. And it tells you, like, oh, that looks like it does stress damage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know what this does. We don't see what their abilities are if they've never attacked before.
Okay.
So once you learn about a monster, you get to see more attacks out of it, and then forever, it's unlocked as
Okay.
part of the UI for the players. So I know what this does. I don't know what this does. And they say that the unknown is scarier than what's known, right?
Right. So do you get into situations where you actually let monsters do their attacks?
I'm trying to think of like when I first started playing, and I didn't pay that much attention to the game to know, but I think that probably not. I think most news players are just going to play, right? They're not going to
Right.
like really pay attention to see like, oh, is there an attack I'm missing, and just let them attack, because no player is going to be like, oh, I'm just
Yeah,
going to
just
let
let them do
attack.
damage.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So we know that this plague grenade hits the back 2 rows, but we've never actually used it. So we've blighted this thing.
4 damage per round.
Whoa.
Per round for 3 rounds. So
Okay.
it does 12 damage, but over 3 rounds. It's a very powerful ability.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay, so we dodged. So it takes 4 damage. So there's Stressful Incantation. Bang. Hits us with 19 stress damage.
Wow. Yeah, they're really hammering the Plague Doctor.
Yeah, and characters that do stress damage are more likely to attack players or player characters that have high stress. So like this cultist will be more obliged to stress damage this now that he's at or she's at 39. So what we can do is we can blight the cultist again.
Will it stack?
It stacks.
The slow
Holy shit.
death.
Yeah, she's very powerful in the areas that she's good in. All
Okay.
bleeds, all blights stack with each other.
But if you're
But-
up against immunity, then
Yeah, but they don't. Obviously, bleeds don't work on skeleton. Like you can see right here, skeletons are super immune to bleeds, but they are not immune to blights.
Right.
So like the cultist is very good in the runes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and also the cove because people are less resistant to blights there as well. We'll get to the cove in a second.
I really enjoyed that what it chooses to tell you is like open information.
Yes.
Right? It's very good about like this is how these things interact. But what these things are and like that's a very precise level of information that
Give
it's
them no
deciding to share.
quarter.
Yeah. So we can see here we've got some busts, some crests, some greaves, whatever that is. I don't know what an arbalest is, but
Neatly
they get
ordered.
plus 3%.
Lovingly admired.
So here we go. We got an heirloom chest, a chest with your family sigil. So that doesn't say unlocked like we saw in the last chest, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
there's just information that's presented to the player here that's like, okay, well, I mean, it doesn't say unlocked, I guess. And it's like normally I would just try it, right? But I know that using a key on the chest unlocks a hidden compartment.
oh,
So we get a torch and some more loot out of it, and that's pretty much it. There is a chance, if I had not used the key on that, there's a chance that I could have got the same rewards that I normally get, or like a little bit less. I think you get a little bit more when you use a curio on it, but there's also a chance that it could have been trapped, and then my character would have got a bleed or a blight.
do you often pick up torches?
Like me?
Or
Do you mean in the
Are they
game
like
in
a
general?
common drop?
They're not super common, but they're not scarce either. I'd say
Okay.
like kind of a middle ground. Like they're not thrown at the player willy nilly to reward not being prepared, right? Like you
Right.
can't just go into a dungeon with no torches and expect to get enough to get you through the dungeon if that's the way you want
Okay.
to play it, right?
but are they common enough that you can be like, oh, if we push this encounter, there's a reasonable chance we'll get a torch and can push deeper?
I don't even think it's that much. It's like, it's not a lot. The reward, most of the rewards that you get from curios are money or heirlooms. Very rarely are they supplies.
okay.
they try to not reward players for not being prepared.
Okay.
And that's the thing that they've
yeah.
driven home a million times already, right? Like they're asking you like, you need to be prepared to go into every one of these dungeons. Yeah, some curios are torches. Like we ran into that torch.
Oh,
There
yeah,
was
wow, the Plague Doctor just got another
yeah. So
stress proc.
as they're walking in the hallways, they have a chance per square to take some stress damage.
Right.
There are certain curios, I mean not curios, certain traits that like affect that. There's a trait called claustrophobia, and they take more stress damage when they're in hallways.
Okay.
But yeah, there's always a chance whenever you're walking around that any of your player characters are going to eat a bit of stress damage, just by virtue of being in this dungeon. Like that. Klepto, there we go. So he whistles. That's his thing. No one's paying attention. So I lost out on some holy water and some gold bars.
Ah,
Just gold bars?
Yeah.
just don't even go to the
Huh.
treasure ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know that this torchlight's go. So we can already see like it's getting shadowy. Stress is going up. Heroes could get surprised. Monster crits are going up. Monster accuracy and damage are going up. So we want to fix that.
Right.
We want it nice and bright.
I assume getting surprised is extremely bad.
Getting surprised. If my party is surprised, not all it's the only thing that's bad is that my whole party gets shuffled.
Okay.
When your party gets surprised, they all get shuffled.
Oof.
I don't think there's a penalty to your speed because then the game just acts normally. Like surprising monsters means my whole team gets to go first. But whenever my party's surprised, we get shuffled and then the speed rolls happen. But getting shuffled is bad enough on its own. I think that's enough. It's a good amount of punishment because you are going to run into situations where certain party members are just not going to be able to do anything. Like there's a class called the Leper, or even the Crusader. The Crusader has abilities that let him move around, but let's say this Crusader got shuffled to the 4th position.
Right.
He literally can't do anything. All of his abilities are the frontieros.
Huh.
So he would have to spend however many turns moving his way back up. You know, and certain classes can move differently. Like the duelist is a bit shiftier and more agile than the Crusader, and he can move forward or back 2 spaces.
Okay.
But the Crusader can only, we'll get there, but forward or back 1. Certain classes can only move forward.
Huh.
There's a class called the Hellion, can only move forward 1, can't go backwards
Interesting.
because of the way she fights. Like she's a barbarian, basically.
Okay.
So we're gonna try a pistol shot, but we can see here it's like 75, 80, 80. Hit it all, so cool. So they've got a debuff. Crits receive chance plus 4% for 3 rounds. So they take an extra 4% chance to crit for 3 rounds. Yeah, look at that.
Masterfully
Rewarded
executed.
immediately. So when we crit, we can notice that we get a
yeah.
little bit of a stress heal.
In the tabletop RPG Call of Cthulhu, one of the ways of curing the madness
Yeah.
that you build up is to get one of your skills above 90%, and just having that level of proficiency is supposed to like center you a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Just
so-
knowing something so well that you're just like, oh, I know this.
Being comfortable.
Yeah,
being
yeah.
So
So we know that the Crusader also has an AoE ability called Zealous Accusation.
This will be great.
Which hits the front tail, so he shows off his fanfic. I can't remember if his unholy damage was. I'm trying to. Oh yeah, so he does a more. We already know that like, he's good against. Cameron is good against skeletons because he does 15% damage with this one ability versus unholy. We know that these skeletons are all unholy, so already we know that. Okay, so the Crusader is something that I want to bring into the ruins as often as possible.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious
Most
killer.
new players wouldn't know how to interact with this, but I'll just do it. But an ornate fountain of holy purport. So we know holy is something. I mean, we have holy water. I mean,
holy water. Let's fill it with holy water.
So if you use your holy water, we just healed a bunch of stress
Ooh.
and some healing. Normally, like if we hadn't scouted this hallway, then we would hit that. We wouldn't have any way to interact with this trap whatsoever. We know as we get closer, we can see like some classes are better at disarming traps than others. Obviously, the highwayman's the best because he's the rogue.
Uh-oh.
I got XCOM'd.
The best.
Yep.
Ancient traps
And I also
lie
ate a
in
bunch of
wait.
stress damage. But
Yeah.
normally, like if I hadn't scouted that hallway, then
No
I'm just
chance.
gonna run across the trap. Like I can't disarm it, I can't see it. I'm just gonna hit it, eat a bunch of stress damage, move on with my life. Don't whistle again.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Use that. So this is where like, kind of like, eventually I'm hoping we'll get to a situation where we have to decide on what we want to take. From a mechanical standpoint, like obviously hunger is a problem for like, they never really address, what's the word I'm looking for? Very elegantly in video games. It's like nobody wants to eat in real
Yeah.
life. Like, I mean, like we like eating in real life, but it's also kind of a bit of a chore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And in video games, it feels like more of a chore because
Yeah.
it's like, well, I gotta feed my dumb idiot children. Like, can't they? It's a video game. Can't they just eat on their own? Like,
Yeah, can we
just
abstract
assume?
this away?
Yeah. And this game does it in a way that, because of how important the inventory is, and like you deciding, like, because I like not know if I didn't know how the game worked mechanically, I would just always try to have food on me. But I know that like mechanically, like how the game works. But the way the game works is that every hallway you have an increasing percentile chance to get a hunger check.
Okay.
And then once you get a hunger check, you cannot be hunger checked in the next hallway.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And so it becomes like every other hallway you're kind of running into a hunger check, so you can kind of tell. This is where like the inventory management. That's something they never explain to you. Like they never say like outright, hey,
Yeah,
this
you
is
only
how
have so
hunger
many
works.
slots.
Yeah. But the way the game has told you is like, oh, they get hungry? Like, holy shit, my party gets hungry? It's like, well, I'm always
Right.
going to have food because I never
And-
want them to starve.
Okay,
right?
like the immediate thing that comes to mind when I'm told, like in a horror game,
Yeah.
that hunger is a mechanic. And we've established that corpses just stay behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
it's like, why not just eat the
Oh,
corpses?
God.
Yeah. But what
Like
if?
these things may go together at some point in the future,
Yeah.
maybe with a bunch of stress.
Pathologic 2 also has a hunger mechanic, and it's also kind of a horror
Yeah.
setting, but it's so brutal, and there's so much like economy. You're balancing like several different bars on
Yeah.
your character just so you can move around the city.
And it's nice, like, it always feels like it could be too much to handle. Like, too much to, what's the word I'm looking for? Too much to manage, right? Like, it's just too much information, it's too much micromanaging. And it's like, the micromanaging percentage of your, the players who like to micromanage on your player base are so much smaller compared to, like, you know, you got to think about the larger, more casual player base, right? And like
Right.
what information you throw at them. And I just, again, I feel like this game does such a wonderful job of like, because like even right there, it's like such an innocuous way of telling you that your heroes need to eat. Because like they just tell you need to bring food. They don't tell you why.
Right.
They're just like, bring food, and you're like, okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna bring 8 food, like
Yeah.
you told me to, game.
We'll-
And they
we'll
never
s-
tell you why. Like, obviously, yes, they need to eat, but you don't know, like, mechanically how it's going to work. And then all of a sudden, these are all, everything that happens in this tutorial is, happens every time.
Okay.
Every
okay.
time you play through this tutorial, you get the hunger check in the same spot, you get the same room layout, you get the same fights. Some of the fights are different in the fact that, like, you might get surprised or whatever, but the fights are all the same, the rooms are all the same, the traps are always in the same spot. Everything is the same in that tutorial dungeon.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, I really enjoy that because it means that when you're new, you can take it over again,
Yeah.
right, and see, like, try different strategies.
Yes.
Knowing that.
But this is the only part of the game, well, not the only part. There are certain parts of the game where the maps are predetermined, but generally, they're all random.
Okay.
The only dungeons that are, we'll talk about, the Crimson Court is a dungeon that is predetermined, and then all the final quests are all predetermined as well.
Okay.
So this is a point where, like, we finish the dungeon, and the game's like, well, do you want to keep going? Because I know that there's another.
Yeah.
I've scouted, so.
Ooh.
We know that there's another dungeon here, and it's like this game constantly presents you with situations where you're like, do I want to push it? It's
Right.
like, well, my party seems okay,
We're in
right?
good
Like, it's
shape.
pretty good shape. And so the brilliant thing about this game is that it does stuff like that to you where you can search out every room. You only have to do 90% of the rooms. The last room is the hardest fight in this dungeon. And like, I'm running low on torchlight. Like, I'm going to go into this and I'm going to be in, like, it could be a little sketchy. because I have no torches left, right? And it's like, how far do I want to push it? And it's like, well, generally I'm pretty greedy.
Uh-oh.
Ah, full party.
Yep.
Bone Defender.
That's 23 stress damage.
Oh, God.
Just for funsies.
Just like, ha!
yeah.
Like,
Oh, crit. Every character gets a bonus whenever they crit. This was a big change that they made like 2 years ago. I think it was like 2 years ago in June, or maybe it was last year, where they made crits better for everybody, and also for the heroes, things happen when you crit.
okay.
So whenever the Plague Doctor crits, she gets 20% blight skill chance for 1 round. Some characters get speed, some characters get damage versus bleeding targets or marked targets or whatever. Okay, so one of the things that they've done, it's not outwardly apparent about how this game works, is that the back row is generally the most dangerous part of any enemy that you're fighting.
Okay, right.
Because they're the hardest to hit.
Right.
You know, because like if you're looking at it, like he can't hit the back row at all. He can barely hit the back row. He has one ability called Pistol Shot. She currently only has one ability that can hit the back row. She has one ability that can hit the back row.
And we can tell that their back row can hit us.
Yes, and we can tell that their back row can hit everywhere that we think. Well, that the information that's been relayed to us. But also like they've shown us that the cultist who was in the third row was a little bit more dangerous or scarier than just like the skeletons that were
Right.
just hanging out in the front row, right? So I know because I've played this game a billion times that I also just saw this dude do 23 points stress
Yeah.
damage, and I'm like, okay,
Okay,
that's spooky.
Buddy, you gotta go.
Yeah, you're out of here. Okay. She's gonna lightning bolt. I could heal. See, this is where you're like, we know that this thing is dead, right?
Right.
Because it's taking 4 blight damage next round and it has 4 hit points. This thing's not gonna die. I could just heal, but I could also damage things.
The classic D&D problem of the fighter is down, it's the cleric's turn.
Yeah.
The monster probably only has 2 or 3 hit points, and the cleric's mace will hit on a 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is rife with situations like this where
Yeah.
you're just asked like, I mean, just like I said earlier, where it's like there's things that you'll do and then you'll lose a character and you'll be like, okay, well, and normally you'll be like, well, that's bullshit. But then if you really think about like, oh, what did I do 2 turns ago when I should have healed rather than stunning, or should I have eliminated this mob when I had the chance? And at the base game, I think that's true. If you're playing like Torchless or whatever, or you're playing even on Blood Moon, there's certain situations that you can get into where just like it takes all the kind of the agency out of the player's hands for the most part, especially on these early dungeons where just things are awful and your characters all suck. And why did I stun that one? Nobody knows.
Well, yeah, I keep coming back to XCOM,
Yeah.
right? Like the first mission in XCOM is debatably the hardest.
Really?
Yeah.
Because all of your dudes suck. They're terrible.
You can be killed exiting the lander.
Yeah.
Like,
right? Like,
Really?
Is the weapon that
That
comes
sounds
on its
miserable.
own.
Okay, so you saw there, they mentioned before that corpses aren't left behind when something dies of blight damage.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yes.
that's something to think about, like going forward as you dive deeper into this game. There are fights that are harder or easier depending on where monsters are in the position order.
Oh, okay. Because when they said that, I didn't fully appreciate what that meant.
Yeah.
But it meant that the
Back row
monster in
moves
the
up.
4th row
Yes.
is now in the 3rd row.
Yes,
Okay.
which is good for us. Like sometimes there's certain attacks that this thing, if this thing is in the front 2 rows, it will only do one certain attack, and that's
Okay.
bayonet jab, which is arguably worse than Quarrel because Quarrel is high damage and has a high chance to crit. But the game just doesn't tell you that; it just lets you figure it out on your own.
Okay.
There are a certain set of monsters called groupers in the Cove, which we'll get to at some point. I'll probably get to the Cove, so just we do know that this thing needs to die probably. We don't have to heal the Highwayman probably. The game gets infinitely more interesting when you're able to buy skills for your characters.
so you get to pick what attacks
What they
and stuff
get,
you
Yes,
get.
because
Okay.
now they're just giving, like, for the first few weeks, like, you just get what you get. And that's essentially it.
They're really hammering on your Plague Doctor.
They sure are. So we know that this thing is dead.
Yes.
And we can probably just leave this. We know we won't be able to kill this thing, but I can take that kill. Well, Cameron, you missed.
Cameron.
Cameron, you missed.
Another one falls.
It's not my fault.
So normally, moving this thing into the front 2 rows is good for us because there's only one attack. Like you can always do a weaker attack. But there are certain monsters that if you pull them from the back to the front, they do a more dangerous attack.
Okay.
It's like they never really explain to you like,
5 inches.
oh, if you get this monster specifically into the front row, you're gonna have a way easier time with it. It just kind of lets you figure it out. You're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. It only did that one attack. Or you'll see like, oh, whenever it's in the front,
Right.
it's doing the same thing. It's not doing this stress attack. It's usually stress damage dealers that will not be able to do the things that you don't want them to do.
I think that's basically like emergent gameplay based on the rules that they have set for how the attacks work.
Yeah. Yeah, everything in this game has rules. Every attacker, every hero, they have a certain way of operating.
But a victory nonetheless.
And that's just like one of the things that this game does is like a lot of like it downplays like your accomplishments. I mean, like even Wayne June, the ancestor said like a trifling victory, but it's a victory nonetheless, right?
You did good.
Yeah, like
Right?
good job, like you did it. And you're like, oh, thanks. So this is the thing. I have a trinket here. I've got a bunch of full inventory. I know, like me as the player, be like, oh, I can just like ditch that. Oops. And take that because I know that these sell for like 750 gold. But it's just like more inventory managed. Like you're trying to decide what you want to take. Okay, so our dungeon's done. We can get out of here. You get this screen every time. It shows you everything that you've gotten from this dungeon.
That didn't seem so bad.
No, it's pretty easy.
So they only get new quirks on level up, or do they
No,
get
it's
randomly?
anytime. Yeah, it's just like a
Okay.
roll of the dice. Everybody rolls it because like Reynald didn't level up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he got meditator, and also he's obsessed with self-worship.
Oh man, I've known people like that.
Are they named Cameron?
Are they named Cameron?
Yo, okay, I'm right here. But like the mediator egomaniac.
Yeah.
Like, hey, everyone, come together.
Together,
It's
yeah.
like, don't fucking touch me, bud.
Also, quick reflexes, which is very good. As
Would
far
you all
as-
like to take a break at this point?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
let's
we
take
can
a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, chat.
In time,
Break for us
you
means
will
break for
know
you.
the tragic extent of my failings.
Dope. Okay, see you shortly.
Bye.
Morty. Hey everyone, we're back.
Hey, we're back.
I'm repellent. I'm sorry about that. Hyoma. Oh man, all of these negative quirks have such good names, like the Hyomania. Like his. Like
What's Thanatophobia?
fear of the sea,
Oh,
right?
not just fear of Thanos.
Oh, yeah. I'm
The
terrified of
Natopho-
Thanos.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. But Hyomania, I assume that's something to do with like, holiness.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Cameron
the
wanted to
tavern
play.
is now unlocked, and
Yep.
the abbey is now unlocked.
Thanatophobia is fear of death. That
Hey,
makes
look.
sense.
Oh, Thanatophobia. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of
Thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia? Yeah.
Thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia, right.
So Cameron wanted to play, and I'm more than willing to indulge him. So, you unlocked a tavern?
I did, and an abbey.
Yes.
Okay. Defeat the apprentice necromancer. I remember that magic card. It's the one that, in the old forums, it used to be thread necromancer.
Oh, yeah.
And the flavor text was, I agree.
Oh,
The
Cameron's
sonorous
getting
prophet.
eager.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, ready to go here.
So-
Also, hold on.
You gonna fix it?
Oh, you're going to
You
capitalize
get
it?
arrows.
sorry.
You're gonna have to. Oh, yeah.
There. Order must be. Yeah.
Okay, so let's check out the abbey. Ooh, stress
The
relief.
cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight.
Can I be the
The
cleric?
abbey calls
Yeah?
to the
Yeah.
faithful.
My preferred class is actually Highwayman. That's my favorite class in the game.
All right, well, here we go.
So right click on it. Yeah, there you go.
Full name or
Sure. It fits.
and it's mean.
That's you.
So we can already tell that, like, if you look on the right, you can see that their stress levels are getting kind of high. I mean,
Yeah.
I know, knowing this game, that you don't need to heal anybody's stress, but now you have the option to.
Okay.
And if you click on, like, if you left click on Corey and, like, drag her, if you just, like, go to drag her somewhere, you can see her, you can slot her into any one of these things
Right.
for stress healing. They don't tell you how much stress healing it does,
But
it's a set of, it is mechanically, it's a set amount, the same amount for all prices. But
Okay.
some characters won't do some stress healing.
Right.
Because they'll get negative quirks. Like, God, I think it's like, if you click on Cameron, yeah, see how Cameron won't.
Will not cloister or will not penance.
Penance. Yeah, because if you right click on Cameron, you can see that he's
God-fearing.
God-fearing.
Right. Will
Intel
only pray for stress relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
there's,
about
like-
right, really. It's like, you know, you really should take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know, there's some really good ways of doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna wait for it to happen on its own.
And then if you go and look at the tavern is the same thing, but there is it's just the same kind of thing. Triple stress
Fresh
healing.
kegs,
Right.
cards,
Um,
and
Who's
curtained
this?
rooms
That's the
promise
caretaker.
solace to the weary and
Ew.
broken
The
alike.
caretaker will randomly take up one of the spots on your stress healing,
Okay.
which can get
Interesting.
annoying later
Yeah.
on if you're not upgrading the tavern to open up more spots.
Okay.
But we've
Or-
got
Oh,
10
yeah.
slots for party members, too.
Really? The highwayman won't gamble.
Yeah, because he is
No
no
cheat.
Oh.
He's not allowed to
It's
gamble.
not allowed to
Yeah,
gamble.
he's not allowed to gamble. Yeah.
Like when one of those people in your Twitch chat shows up being like, "Oh yeah, I left that Discord. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I quit that Discord."
Yeah, I quit. I'm never going back.
I no longer
So,
gamble.
Cameron, you have successfully forayed in your first dungeon. What do you want to do? Well, we need to check for new fresh blood, correct?
Yeah, stagecoach. Let's see who's here. Ooh, a
Ooh.
highwayman, a shield breaker,
Yeah.
a jester.
Yeah.
What do you do? Flawed release, dud hitter, mankind hater,
Yeah.
the great Malenko.
Great Malenko. He's a juggalo.
Okay, oh okay, so kind of like a bard?
Yeah. And again, this
Interesting.
game does dump a lot of information on you, just like all of a sudden. And that's why I just think like just taking things and seeing what works really benefits the player.
Houndmaster. Necromania. Fascinated with corpses. Huh. It's only a real problem if we see him in the brothel a lot.
Yeah.
With the caretaker.
In the caretaker, with the caretaker in the brothel, with the candlestick.
Shield breaker. Okay. Pierce. Damage mod. Okay.
Wow.
Bypasses guard.
That's a lot of range on those attacks.
Yeah, wow, they hit
Shield
from...
breaker. So the shield breaker is a very powerful class, but has very low hit points, so they die easy.
Ah.
And there is a certain set of things that every time that you'll run into with the shield breaker that are like very tough fights as part of her kind of quest line.
And then just
Because
an auxiliary...
each character in Darkest Dungeon, they don't explain it in the game, but they have comics outside of the game that are
Oh.
fucking brilliant.
Really?
And,
Okay.
yeah, they tell what the story is of each of these classes, because each class is technically like, even though you can have multiple
Like
of
an
the
individual
classes,
hero?
yeah, but they're the individual hero, and they all kind of, for the sake of the storyline, only one of them technically exists, even though you can have multiples. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So like
So-
the highwayman and has his own story, and the cleric has her own story. And they're all usually super depressing, but very interesting. And I don't want to spoil any of them, but they're very good.
Okay, so do we just take the... Because I guess we're getting into dungeons that are above the level of what we can recruit. Like, even the first dungeon was above the level of, like...
They're
raw
always like
recruit.
that, yeah.
Okay, so we want to level people up quickly, I'm assuming, in order to prevent them from taking the additional stress damage of being in a higher level dungeon than...
Yeah.
But you can't park them in, like, the Abbey, right? Unless you... Or does that, like, pass immediately?
What do you mean?
If you put them in the Abbey, does it happen immediately, or do you...
No, it takes a week.
Yeah.
So when you put them in there, they're gone for the week. I would
So-
highly suggest not putting, because you only have one healer.
Right.
And I highly
Oh,
suggest
yes.
taking at least one healer on every dungeon delve. You could get, like, because it's darkest, because it's normal difficulty with torches, you could probably get away with
You will be
that
laughing
party.
still at the
I would
end.
take everybody,
Okay.
but you could probably get away with those 4. But for this the sake of ease, I would take the Vestal, like,
Lawman
maybe
and
take
his
3 of the new
faithful
people with the
beast.
Vestal.
Okay.
Bond
Okay, that's
forged by
interesting.
I would definitely
battle
take that other
and
highway.
bloodshed.
Like, just take everybody. Like, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Like, I would just suggest, like, just take everybody, and even doubles, and you'll see.
So if we are, let's see, I will only pray.
You want to take her, though.
Yes,
'Cause you
yes,
wanna take
right. Yes,
Corey,
we keep
yeah.
saying that.
And I would suggest you don't need to heal any of that stress, because
It's pretty low, right?
yeah, it's pretty low. Like, you'll generally you'll start to realize at what stress level you need to, like, get people into the stress healing with. Like, usually around
Okay.
Corey's level is when I'll dump somebody in just to heal them up.
But because that's the necessary healer for the party.
Yes, you need to use her again.
Okay, so we can use the bus and the crest
Yes.
to unlock.
More slots.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I generally say, like, since you're not using it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't really need to upgrade it. But I think
Okay.
that's kind of the interesting thing too, is like, it's interesting to me that the developer decided to give you the stress healing first and the ability to upgrade it, when really upgrading at that point isn't that useful to the player.
okay.
You don't gain a lot of it immediately, like as in the other buildings that you will unlock, like maybe next week. Which is an interesting design choice, right? Like, do I give the player? I give the player this thing that heals this damage bar that they didn't really have any way of healing before, and like, oh, maybe I'll just upgrade this right away, when it really isn't that, like, efficient of a use of your resources.
Okay, so I want to trade air. We want to upgrade our stagecoach network, right? So that means we need deeds or
You need
deeds.
3, or you need like 10 deeds.
You
Yeah.
need a bunch.
Like, that's a lot. I don't think your trade ratio works that well for
No,
that.
it's not.
No.
You always lose out. Every time
Okay.
you're trading resources, you're losing out, and it's generally only worth it if you're, like, super close.
Okay.
If you want to do it. So that's the thing that you know. Now, next time you go into a dungeon, you know, oh,
Yeah, look for
I
deeds.
want deeds.
Right.
And that's where the kind of, like, the player figures this stuff out on their own. Which is like, you realize, oh, okay, if I want to do this part of the town, then I need to make sure I prioritize certain things.
Okay.
And then you'll start, like, doing things where you're dumping, like, even gold. Like, you don't need money anymore, and you're just like, I just want deeds.
Right. Right.
And it feels weird to, like, it's almost like a bit freeing in this game, especially because it's like you're constantly told you can only hold so much, and then when you really narrow it down and you really figure out everything, like, if you have a plan for attack, it's like, oh, I need this, 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 and this. And then when you go into the dungeon going ahead of time, you're like, okay, well, I'm only looking for this, and I know that going forward, if I ever run into, I can sacrifice certain things just to get this one resource. The game, like, constantly makes you decide, like, what part of this town do you want to focus on?
So, do we want to go into the ruins again, or do we want to hit the cove?
That is up to the player.
Scout level 1?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. So, let's try to level some people up here.
Yep.
We want to keep our Vestal,
Yeah.
but let's see what all these different people do. Because the Jester wants
Yeah.
to be in...
Yeah.
This is brightest at 3rd.
Yep.
Linvey wants to be in 2nd. And Macy, we've established, has a lot of very strong abilities in the first one, but has very bad armor and defense.
Yes. Offensively, very powerful.
You can also check like trinkets because there's 2
Oh,
equipment
yeah.
slots there.
Where are our trinkets?
That
In
box.
the bottom right, there's a chest there.
Crit.
Arbalest only, minus speed.
Nah, I don't think any of those are useful for you.
This seems like a very bad way of lining up. What about the Vestal?
She's generally, like, you're going to want her to be healing, so you'll have her in the back 2 rows, correct?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like where you're keeping her, and that party lineup's fine because like this group can hit almost every row no matter where they are.
Okay.
The Houndmaster and the Shieldbreakers specifically, because the Houndmaster's first ability
Hound's Rush.
hits every row.
hits everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is an AoE,
Yes.
right? That's what the link.
So the link means it hits
Okay.
everything that's linked together.
Okay. Guard dodge. Oh, okay. They can buff it. He can buff his own dodge.
Or any party members.
Yeah. So
Oh,
guard
okay.
is something that they don't. I think they only explain it when you use it. But so yeah, if this is a short dungeon, I'm just gonna spoil it now. You want to take at least, if you just hold down shift, you can take down multiples. You'll want probably like that. I would take 10 torches,
Okay.
and then you want like probably just a stack of food should be fine on a short.
Okay.
With the cove, you want shovels.
Okay.
Probably like 3. And you want herbs,
Okay.
which is the mortar. Yeah, there you go. You probably want 3 of those. And
Oh.
since you already had one with and probably like a couple keys and a couple holy waters.
Okay.
And maybe like just to be safe, take like 2 bandages because there's bleeds in the cove.
Okay.
That cause a problem.
All right. Well, let's just roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah. So this is the first time you've headed into the cove, and it's aesthetically it's like a Lost Mariner kind of situation. Like there's like there's a dock nearby, or like
Right.
it's
I'm
a-
expecting
it's-
like ghost pirates.
yeah. There's a little bit of that.
And maybe like deep
Fishmen.
ones.
Or
Yeah.
thralls that explode.
Yeah, thralls that explode also.
I'm
like
sure that's fine.
zombies. You know, like drowned mariners is
Yeah.
the aesthetic that I'm looking for.
Hags.
Yeah.
Get some sea hags.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone loves sea hags.
You can click to
Oh.
start.
Brain.
The smell
okay.
of rotting
Right.
fish is almost unbearable.
The hero
Gross.
pen.
Okay. Well.
So you see immediately that your low-level party has all eaten a bunch of stress,
yeah.
And you have a doggo.
and you have a good dog.
Destination room.
Hey, you scouted.
Oh, a trap. So we can.
Okay, so first
This-
of all, your quest is to explore 90% of the rooms.
Okay. So we do want to move into this room.
Generally, yeah, like if you're thinking about, because like on a short dungeon with 90% of rooms, you can probably skip one room.
Okay. Right.
So you probably want to do that room up there.
Probably do want to do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
scatter traps will be visible on the ground, so you can see like if you check every player.
60, 80, 70. All right.
Yeah. Right now, master.
And then
Just click
Click
the
on the
trap.
trap.
got XCOM'd.
Yeah.
Watch
Okay,
your
so
step.
we got a debuff.
Ooh.
So if you look at that debuff,
Minus 20 dodge and minus 5 to speed for 12 rounds.
but if you use an herb on
Okay.
if you go into your inventory,
It's the bag on below the map. Yeah.
Right.
click on the herb, right click on it. There you go.
Ah.
There, it's gone.
Yep.
And
Use
that's
that
why we
herb.
bring herbs. There's a bunch of different like
Odds and
the way
reward
that the game because
for a
initially when you
task
first start
well
playing this game the way that the information is presented to you buy like everything,
Yeah.
right? And you realize very quickly that buying everything because you want to be ready for everything isn't sustainable from an economy standpoint.
Go to the map. Ah, okay. Thought-
And you are very quickly shown that like,
Ew.
you're very
Okay.
quickly shown that you can't just buy everything you want. You can't be. You need to make decisions before you're even going on the dungeon about what you need to bring, which I think is interesting, just from
Okay.
like the way that they want the players to play this game.
So, this seems to be an AoE that debuffs the enemy team. Is that correct? Solar
That-
1, ranged forward 3.
Yeah, it doesn't do any damage.
Mm-hmm.
On self, it marks you. It gives you plus 20. Like when you use that,
Right.
it goes forward. So it's a ranged attack that you can use in the back rows.
Mm-hmm.
It says forward 3, so it's going to move him forward 3
Oh,
spaces.
rough.
And then it doesn't do any damage, right? but on self, it marks you, so you're going to be marked, which is usually pretty bad.
Yeah.
It gives you plus 20 dodge. It makes your finale do 75% damage, and your finale do 8% crit. Since you weren't able to buy skills, he doesn't actually have finale.
Finale, yeah.
So that skill is essentially kind of useless.
Right. Okay. Let's not do that then. Buff target. This. Let's just stab someone.
This is kind of interesting, just watching somebody. Yeah, it's gonna like you.
Battle Ballad, buff target. +2 speed, +5 accuracy, +2 crit. I would really like to be able to.
What are you looking for?
I want to be able to protect my team, but Harvest, damage mod 50%, bleed 100% base. They're pretty resistant to bleeding.
But not like the 200% that the
Yeah.
skeletons.
I mean, they're resistant, but they are not immune.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it'll hit these two
Yeah.
and bleed them for six bleed per round. Or accuracy base. Actually, this is quite accurate.
Okay, you got one.
Okay.
Monsters with high prot. Some monsters have high prot, which absorbs attack. So no one really needs to be healed. So you
Yeah.
can do other. You can
Just
lightning
divine
bolts.
judgment.
Yeah.
So, Grouper. Chat was mad about groupers.
Groupers suck. But there's a certain way that groupers operate that I will explain after this fight is over. But it's just kind of the thing that the developer just like lets you figure these things out. And it took me a while to figure out how these fights worked.
Buff ally, 10% to dodge.
Ow!
Or do we just want to kill? Uh-oh. Accuracy 90, damage mod 10%, crit mod.
Now we move back.
Yeah, back 1. You know, that's not the worst. Back 1, accuracy base 85, damage mod 40%.
The point is to keep losing until you stop losing. Yes. This game, you are going to lose over and over again until you just stop losing. You'll figure things out. You'll get more efficient. And I think that it just does such a brilliant way of forcing you to learn without like... I guess you could look this all up and have it all the information presented to you.
But there's still like words
Pull
that don't
two.
mean anything until you're actually using
What
them.
does
Yeah.
pull 2 do?
Pulls them.
Oh ho! Stress wave. Oh, it moved them back. Interesting. Ow. I don't like that. Guard failed. Like to see that.
I've never seen that. Oh, you pulled it! Fuck, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so the ability, I was like, what? Yeah, the
Just the-
ability from the shield breaker
Yeah.
makes it so guards can't work on that character.
That's amazing.
Alright.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Yeah, let's keep the bleeds up on these two. Then Divine Grace, heal Dogman. Ha!
Ugh.
There's like something also in the
Sucks
way
to
that the
suck.
game is presented, like from a visual standpoint, the way it zooms in and the way that
No, that makes the fights very dynamic.
Yeah, like
like
for
a
something
turn-based
that's like
thing.
very
Yeah.
static, right? Like the way that it's like, oh, this looks fine, and they could have just like, I'm sure that when they were making the game, they were just attacking without the zoom ins and
Yep.
everything. They're like, something's missing from this, right? Like from an engagement standpoint.
Is this a guard or barnacle barrier?
Guardian.
Prot.
Okay, if you look at the Shieldbreaker's first ability,
Octocestus?
no, the Shieldbreaker's first ability,
Oh, the shield breaker.
Ah,
armor piercing.
yes.
So that ignores prot.
Okay.
the shield breaker is very good in the cove.
Okay. Ow. That's bad. I mean, could try stunning them.
Yeah.
More bleeds. More bleeds, please. Just bleed them
Confidence
down.
surges as the enemy crumbles.
So you've got a bleed on you. Oh, look at that. If you
Okay.
wish, you can use a bandage from your inventory.
So
to
you've got to
stop-
bleed.
Yeah, so you've got to bleed. There you go.
And that doesn't use up a turn. That's
Oh, it
immediate.
No,
doesn't.
that doesn't use a turn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep piercing.
Yeah, just resources. But I mean, like, that's the thing where you are given resources to use that also, like, heal your players, but these resources are also generally used on curios in the dungeon. So it's like, do I want to heal my party or do I want to try eating this bleed damage and risking it, a possible death, to save some, try to get
Yeah.
more money out of this dungeon, right? Because money ends up being a very important resource. Not only does it stress heal when you're back
Give
at the
them no
village,
quarter.
sorry, excuse me, but it also lets you upgrade your party's equipment and everything
Okay.
else.
Bleed them out.
Really bloody piles.
I do like how, like, there are enough classes that are already very apparent to how they should work. The Vestal obviously works exactly like it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And someone like the Highwayman or the Crusader are very obvious. And then you look at somebody like the Jester. and
It's
you're
like, what is this?
I don't understand what this
Yeah.
is.
There's a lot of like movement and there's a lot of like range and
Yeah.
buffs, and without like the finale
Yeah.
abilities.
And even the finale is kind of like, that's weird, is that even worth it kind of thing?
Yeah.
Corpses can bleed, yes.
Let's just keep bleeding them out.
So like stuff like bleeds and blights are good on like high prot targets because bleeds and blights don't.
They bypass
They
the
bypass the
protection.
prop,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Many dots.
No.
Oh, yep, no.
Continue
Dirk
the
stab.
onslaught.
Oh, no.
Destroy them all.
All right. All right.
Okay, Twitch chat. Need you to chill out. Everybody needs to relax. Okay. Just so you know, I personally have put over 600 hours in this game. I know how it works. Cameron is figuring it out on his own. Let him figure it out. Okay?
Ooh. Stress
We
here.
just spent the last hour and a half talking about how this game is very good at making you figure stuff out. Let him figure it out. Okay?
Redo party order. Okay.
Is it that shuffle button?
There's a shuffle button in your bottom.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It says, just moves it to the default party.
All right. So we want to go back to this room. Our dog man is taking a lot of stress here. Maybe I should light a torch.
Yeah, you were at like 59.
Want to stay up around 75?
Yeah.
Destination room? Sure. There's a battle on the way, but
Anyway, so and then as you play this game more, you realize that certain enemies behave in certain ways.
Yeah.
And there's just like this like cascade of information from them telling you there's enemies to kill, and then there's corpses that work. See, that's the kind of stuff that you just figure out on your own, right?
yeah.
There's a lot of times where you're going to come into a curio and you're like, I don't know, I guess I'll try. Quad grouper, perfect example. So the way that the groupers work is that groupers, the front two will only ever attack the front two.
Okay.
The back two will only ever attack the back two. The front two are considered the more dangerous of the two because they only have one ability, and it's if you hover over them. They have one ability called Seaward Slash, which hits really fucking hard, and
Yeah.
if it crits for like 16 or some shit. So it's bad. So the thing that you want to do is you want to actually, for the quad grouper fight, you want to kill the front two first.
Okay.
Because the back two are less dangerous. On higher difficulties, the back two get a little bit more dangerous because their abilities can shuffle people.
Okay. Okay.
But this is where corpses become kind of a good thing, because if you kill these front two without bleeds or blights, but yeah,
My bad.
if you kill them without bleeds or blights, you want to leave the corpses because then it leaves these two in the back doing an admittedly weaker attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, see, you didn't crit there, so that just leaves a corpse there.
Okay.
Which is very good for you.
Ow.
And like on especially Torchless Blood Moon is like quad grouper is like one of the scarier fights because the front two can just massacre your party. And there comes this weird kind of like you're praying to not crit them.
Okay.
Like you're praying for like this good thing to not happen to you.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to crit them because I want to leave these corpses in their front.
A dizzying
See?
blow to body
See how the
and
shield break?
brain.
Yeah, you just like almost got one shot. I'm hoping you get put to death's door, but you probably won't. Because now, okay, so now you know, since we know how these operate, right? It's a new round. We know that this one's going to get to go. You can only attack one of these two. But let's say there was two corpses here. You knew these two back lines were just
Right,
alive.
they can only
They
attack
can't
that-
hit. Then
that
you
two.
know that that shield breaker is going to be just fine as long as she's in the front two.
Right.
Now you could guard the shield breaker if you want to.
Because this one hasn't gone yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just crit.
Nice. Or accuracy base 90, minus 10 damage.
Adam
plus
has
5.
forgotten more than I will ever know about this game. Forgotten. Did
It
I
just
forget
means you know a
something?
lot.
Did I forget something? I
No,
don't think I forgot.
no, it just means you know a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a weird way. That's a weird sentence. That maybe my tiny baby brain doesn't understand.
A singular strike.
It's a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment.
So you see how like this game, they're so good about just certain fights can get out of control, right? You feel overwhelmed, right? A little bit. You're like, oh my god, stop! Like you're just like
Yeah.
you're beating the shit out of my party because we haven't really run into any problems up until now, right? Like
Yeah,
now we
yeah.
almost had a character go to Death's Door. We haven't
Yep.
seen Death's Door yet, but it's like these battles have this like. This like snowballing effect where things can just go out of control and it kind of feels out of your hands, but that's also kind of the rush of it. And it's again, like they said at the beginning of the game, it's the making the best of a bad situation.
These like the drums and the music are
And the
doing
music
a really
is
good
like,
job.
yeah,
It's like,
right?
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and like when Wayne June pipes in, he's like a singular strike, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
Wayne June, like
Yeah, it was a singular
yeah,
strike.
it was.
I did a good thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Woof woof.
gotta roll the dice.
There you go.
Okay.
As
And everybody
victories
clap.
mount, so too will resistance.
So we should probably heal, right? Can we heal?
Can't heal out of combat. Yeah.
Interesting.
You're gonna have to go looking for trouble.
Yeah. I love that. I love that design choice of not being able to heal out of combat.
It, like it, I guess, kind of raises the priority for like campsites and stuff. Because
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, I'm just gonna have to keep fighting until you get to a spot you
Yeah.
couldn't.
And also, even on fights or dungeons where you don't have a camp, it gives you battles that it's like, okay, well, do I delay this fight and try to heal a little bit and run the risk of getting crit?
The cleric disarmed the trap.
Oh, I didn't mean to click. Oh, okay.
See? The game is easy. You
Skill.
can also eat food to heal, but then you run the risk of getting food checked, not being able to heal later in the dungeon.
Right.
So there's a corpse.
Yay!
Nothing happened.
You found squishy bits.
The food is right behind Cameron's head. So this is where the game gets a little spooky now, because now
Yeah.
you're heading into the unknown. You've
Yeah, we
scouted
haven't
all this
scouted
stuff.
this room.
Yeah. Now you don't know what's going to happen.
Barrier.
Another mariner? Another
Ow.
misfortune.
Whoa.
You want to make sure you click on the shovel. That is one
I'm
thing.
sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not your
Oh.
fault. I mean, well, it is your fault.
It is
but
my fault.
You just ate a bunch of stress damage, but this is good. We get to see these mechanics happen.
Can we eat more food?
Why did I make you want to fire up Darkest Dungeon? Because this game is brilliant. Love this game. I want to back up just a little bit.
If only treasure could
Well, you
staunch
showed
the
an infinite
flow
loop.
of otherworldly
Yes,
corruption.
you've shown an infinite loop. I have torches for days.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Uh-oh.
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 Uh-oh. What does that buff do?
Plus 25 damage, plus 5
Ah.
accuracy, and plus 5 crit.
Kill them all!
All right. So
Uh,
we do know
these two
that
will
these
only
are stress
attack-
dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do also know that these are very spooky. So this is like where these like fights are generally a tough decision. Like
Yeah.
you've already got a high stress because you messed up with the shovel thing, right? So you know that this party is in danger of becoming stressed out.
Yeah.
So do you kill the stress dealers or do you kill the obviously high damage dealers in the front?
Or do you just heal your damage?
Yeah.
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 Stress wave. Okay, easy game, easy game, easy game,
Okay.
easy game.
Yeah.
That'll bleed everyone, won't it, if it hits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only one.
One
It's only
point.
one damage over 3 rounds. Generally, if I'm gonna give you advice, single target attacks are almost always better than AOE attacks.
Okay.
Almost always. There's a few cases where yes, you will AOE, but generally
1 point
not.
per round per 3 man.
I think that's one of the problems that like most new players fall into is they think that, oh, it's AOE, I'm hitting multiple things at once.
Yeah.
The only time when AOE attacks are good is when they stun multiple things.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Blight multiple things.
Or like...
Or like,
Bloodshot
I mean, the
Wolf.
bleed is good technically, but
It's
it's
not as
generally-
good as Blight has
Yeah.
been. Oh boy.
Plague Bomb is an exception, yes. So Cameron got smacked.
That's basically a wasted move, right?
Yes. Generally, you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to. You want to do something every turn. Need some stress damage. Yeah, but we're talking about the game now. We're not talking about the game how the game was when it came out. We're not playing the game when it came out. We're
Won't
playing the
bleed a
game now.
corpse. Or will.
Yes.
Oh, because it didn't die from
Yes,
the bleed
it did die
damage.
from the bleed. so
Okay,
it
so
leaves
you
the
can...
corpse. Okay,
Teetering on the
so
brink,
we've got Death's Door.
facing the abyss.
When a hero is reduced to 0 HP, they're at Death's Door. While in this state, they suffer stat penalties, plus any further damage has a chance to kill them. Heal them to get them off Death's Door.
Okay.
Well, it's a good thing that your cleric gets to know. There you go. So now, if you look at the debuff,
Death's Door recovery.
minus 2 accuracy, minus damage, minus speed,
Oh,
plus
and
10%
we have
strength.
to do a quest to get rid of that?
No, that's just for the rest of this quest.
Oh, okay then.
For the rest of this dungeon, they have that penalty.
Okay, so this is bleeding 2 damage per round for 2 rounds, 1 damage per round for 2 rounds. So I want to try to put these down. So
Yeah.
this
so
will
now
die
you
next
know
round.
you know that thing's dead.
Yep.
You can just like mentally check out from having to damage that. I think that's the thing that like most new players don't
Slowly.
like. They'll just be like maybe sometimes they'll
Hit
attack
it until it dies. Hit it
Yeah.
until it
See,
dies.
move economy. That's why move economy is so important. In this
Yeah.
game, right? Like it's like you don't want to waste a move attacking something that's already dead.
Yeah.
And bleed dot damage always happens at the beginning of their turn.
Oh,
Death's
God.
Door again?
Becoming
Yeah, you got smacked.
unwound.
So it's gone.
Yeah.
This one, Call of the Deep or Sea Breeze. I don't think I've seen them attack and do physical damage.
Not yet.
This one's already gone this round, so let's take that out. 1 damage per 1 round.
God, I love the
4-1.
music in this game too. And it's weird because they only use like one track.
What does the other one do? The one that moves you back? That one.
Back 1. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. But that's
But,
fine because
yeah,
now
it
she
was-
can't be hit.
It was still an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
rather than just moving.
Oh!
Perched at the very precipice.
Are you
of
shitting me?
oblivion.
I love this game. Get fucking whopped. Oh man. Tell you, man. Groupers, they're tough. Okay, you can stun it.
Oh, yeah, I got a blackjack. Wapap!
This is also something that you need to be aware of, like, because when you were moving this party around, you were robbing the Houndmaster of one of his best abilities, which, is blackjack. Yeah.
Okay. Or,
It's still stunned, so getting damage in on it.
yeah.
You're going to have a heal.
A stun is like a heal, is what I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
You were
okay,
essentially
yeah,
healing
yeah,
your
yeah.
party by stunning something. Like you probably healed somebody for like 11, right? It's like bigger than a normal heal.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Or is
yeah,
it
yeah.
merely
It's like
a trick
in
of
Magic
the
when you play a
light?
I said
Planeswalker.
the thing. Pardon?
It's like in Magic when you play a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Right, you're healing for kind of their amount of
Yeah, yeah,
loyalty,
yeah. It's
right?
like I paid 5 mana to kill a creature and heal for 5 life or whatever.
Whoa.
Alright, so let's eat a food. Maybe.
So there, you're off death's door.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
You can eat multiple food. Now I know, knowing the mechanics of this game, like if you look at your, so we got to be careful because we haven't had a food check.
We had one.
Did we have one food
Yeah.
check?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we haven't had it. We could. So the way this game works is if you go to the map. So now, we're probably going to get a food check either here or there. We have 7
Right.
food, but if we get a food check here, it depends if we get a food check here because we can. Once we get a food check, we can't get food checked in the next hallway.
But
Right.
the next one we might.
But the next one we might.
So we
but
need
we only have
names.
7 food, so we don't have enough food to last 2 food checks.
Right.
Right.
So is it better to use the odd amount of the remainder food to heal?
I don't know.
Because if we can't get through a second food check.
And can you bail before the end of the dungeon?
No. Well, you can bail before the end of the dungeon, yes, but you don't get any of the rewards and you don't get any experience for
Right.
bailing out.
It's only 1 health point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's 5% of your health.
Well, it certainly isn't doing us any good.
I'll tell you now that each character can eat 4 food before they're full.
Okay.
But you can still get food checked on a party that's full. If you feed everybody 4 food,
Right. Ah! What are you?
Stinger.
this game does such a good job of just like throwing new. That's the response that I think the developer wants. They're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
You're like, "That's a jellyfish. I don't like that. What does it do?"
Yeah.
There's something about like the unknown is scary because you know the group. Okay, so we know because I explained this to you, but you know that this guy will spear the bacterial lance. You know this does stress damage. You don't know what the fuck these two do.
I'm assuming this thing is tanky, and this thing probably stuns a lot.
Well, you can look at this. Look at the snail.
Prot
75% prot.
Right.
Jeez. Yeah.
So far, I've liked bleeding these things. But... Critmon, bypass guard. Oh, it has like no hit points.
Shaka. Ah.
Okay. Now we get a free heal.
This will attack here.
But, okay, so, correct kind of line of thinking, but generally, what's his health at? 8?
Yeah.
Okay, that's, but you also need to think about, like, let's say this thing hadn't gone, or could attack anywhere. You
Right.
need to realize which heal is going to keep someone off death's door more. You know what I
Right,
mean? Because
okay,
sometimes
yeah.
somebody's going to be at 1 hit point, and you're like, I'm not even going to bother healing them at this level, because the difference
Any-
between 1 hit point and 5 hit points is nothing,
Right.
right?
Injury and despondence set the stage.
So you know that Endor, yeah. So you know where that Endor's
Or
armor. So we
cowardice.
just killed the snail for the base.
So that's the buff to damage.
Okay, so that will attack. That will attack first 2. Salty gouge. Gross. Uh-oh.
I think she's on straight healing duty on like air duty. So the grouper's gonna go and he's gonna seaward slash somebody.
Yeah.
She's being guarded by the Houndmaster.
Yeah.
But you should probably heal one of them. Probably the Houndmaster.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing where, like, I think that this game's appeal is when people who have been through it all and know how everything works, they like watching somebody figure it out. But I think it veers too much into, like, the territory of I need to tell the person how to play this correctly rather than enjoying them figuring it out at their own pace, which is, I think, a thing that this, again, I've tried to drive home over and over again, is that I think this game does brilliantly, is just, you're gonna figure it out at your own pace. And I think that for those of us that have played through this game over and over again, and I know that sometimes when you watch someone play a game, it's hard just to be like, oh my god, please just do this, like, you know what I mean? It's easy to get locked into that endless cycle of just going and watching somebody, especially in 2019, where it's we have access to it everywhere. We can go to a lot of streams and watch people play a video game for the first time. But I think that there's something to be said, especially about this game, and just enjoying the experience with them.
Yeah.
And trying not to. I know that I've explained a lot to Cameron on this, and I'm probably just like, maybe that's going against what I'm saying right now, but there is something to be said about just letting somebody enjoy this game and figure it out.
There's a difference between defining what the mechanics are and telling people what to do on their turn.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Which will just make someone like self-conscious about how they're playing.
Yeah.
Okay, this thing is gonna bleed out.
Yeah.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
What a brilliant. Oh, I can't wait for Darkest Dungeon 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, is this still going to tick?
Yes.
He's gonna have 1 health left.
Yeah. You have no bandages.
No bandages. We're fine.
What's
We're
that?
fine.
What's that? What's that? What is that?
What is what?
That.
That's the antediluvian seal that we saw at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Ancient sculpture of dizzying implication. It wants us to decipher it.
I don't think anything we have helps with that. Dog bone?
Interesting. We got a trait.
Fear of Eldritch.
Yeah. So that curio has a 50% chance of being a good trait or a bad trait.
Oh, so just
Interesting.
like flip
Just
the coin.
using it. If you use a shovel on it, it's always a bad trait.
Interesting.
Some of them is like they reward you for like, not reward you, but like just like not. I don't know. It doesn't even feel like punishing. It's just like you're in a dungeon, you're adventuring, and you just mess with something with no like you break apart this thing without knowing what it does. Like yeah, you got punished. It's like
Uh-oh.
yeah, you deserve to get punished.
Okay.
What position does our dog boy need to be in for stunning?
Front 2. When will he go?
Well, what's his speed? I mean, that'll just give you an idea.
I want to
think
kill him.
I'm pretty sure I have all the curios memorized. I think.
7
As
shits.
life ebbs, terrible vistas of
Ooh,
emptiness.
resolve check.
themselves.
All right.
God.
Okay,
so that's a
it seems
25%
easy.
chance to happen, yeah. So now, there you go. Sometimes heroes respond to the onslaught of stress by becoming virtuous. This elevated state of performance will last until they suffer a large amount of stress or return to town and confer stat bonuses and other benefits.
Okay.
Nice. Oh,
So powerful is basically like a 20% damage buff, is what they get.
Because that'll increase his dodge too, doing that.
Yes. The Houndmaster is like a very powerful class that doesn't look powerful.
Yeah.
Because I think like they don't do a lot of damage, but they just have a lot of utility.
Yeah.
That make a lot of groups kind of like as you dive deeper into this game, you realize that there are certain classes that are just good at everything. And the Houndmaster does just a little bit of damage. They have a stress heal that you unlock later. They can guard somebody, which is very powerful. Houndmaster and Highwayman are my favorite classes because they're arguably the most powerful.
Uh-oh.
I guard.
And now the true test. Hold fast. Or
So the
expire.
dodge chance stacks.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if you look at his dodge
it'd be
now,
like 20 now.
at the Houndmaster's dodge, yeah. So it, like,
Okay.
but like because you can't refresh it, you can't like keep stacking over. It'll hover at like 20 or 30 dodge, I think, because of the way the round buffs work. Yeah, the Houndmasters have a tough time. Did you crit heal?
I don't
Game's
know.
easy. This game's easy.
I just
Yeah.
want to keep the...
The Striker alive?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like there's this scrambling, right? You're like, holy fuck, something went wrong. Like you get crit, and then you're
Well, it's just like the stress levels are so high, and all of the health bars are low, and you
Yeah.
can only heal one at a time.
yeah, it's like it's like this brilliant. It's such a nice way of designing a video game, in that you have these two different, basically these two different resources to handle,
Yeah.
and it just makes every fight feel like it means something. I mean, there are some fights that never feel like you're never really truly in danger, but this, especially like the first, I would say like the first 10 weeks of the game are some of my least favorite, but also some of my favorite because you have these beautiful fucking babies that you're trying to protect, and you're just like, I just want you to live. I just want you to get old enough to get big and strong, and then they do, and then you start. There's an obvious growth of power. Like the way Darkest Dungeon works is like there's like some massive peaks and valleys as far as your power level goes. And like the beginning of the game, you're at the bottom, and then once everybody hits around level 1, there's like a little spike in power as you get upgrades.
Well, because like then the dungeons you're entering aren't adding more stress.
Yeah, but also
and-
you get the blacksmith. The blacksmith unlocks, and you get upgrades with the blacksmith.
Right.
And you can get higher upgrades than what your level is, because like you can get level 2 upgrades on level 1 characters. And then
Okay.
when you go into a level 1 dungeon, you're stronger. You never miss. You have more hit points.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I should have blackjacked there.
It'll be okay.
Okay.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Portraits?
You have 3.
You need to make a decision, Cameron. Do you want to keep the portrait?
I don't know. I don't know what their significance is.
Yeah. So this is the brilliant thing about a new player in this game. Is like, do you just throw that away? Do you want to throw that away?
Is anything else in your inventory worth more than it?
Well, they're not worth any money.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, just
But from
value.
from a value, what value can you put on one portrait? I know what I would do.
It's probably fine.
Also, party order.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
Food check.
we got a food check. We have to eat that food. So now, if we
Yes.
look at the map, I can explain to you how this works. So,
So
food
we
check.
can't get food checked here.
No food check. So technically, the dungeon's done because we're gonna get to
Yeah,
this
there.
room, and that's 90% of the rooms.
All right.
So we're gonna hit at least 2 more encounters, basically.
We're good. We're
Well,
good.
that doesn't have a room battle because we've scouted that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there could be fights, but we're okay for food. You missed a backpack.
Oh,
Backing on up.
I wonder who left this here. Nice. Nice. Skill. Okay.
So check your map again. Every time you enter a room, you have a base scout chance.
Oh,
Okay. I was just gonna ask.
Scouting
how you
only
trigger
happens
scouting.
when
Scouted
you
2 rooms.
only when you enter a room. Yeah, crit scouts are very good. When you scout two hallways ahead of where you are, that's a crit scout.
Okay, so we've got a trap.
Yeah.
80% disarm.
Good job, Dogman.
Got XCOM'd again. That's XCOM, baby.
It's XCOM, baby. Do you have herbs to use on your Houndmaster?
Oh, yeah. Use the herb.
Okay, so it's blanketed in barnacles.
Oh.
Hey.
That's subtle. That is
Yes,
way
right?
more
Yeah.
subtle than I
You
expected.
see? Like, this
fucking
game is
big
so good.
brain
They
play.
give you just little things to think about. Everything is hinted at in
Oh.
every
Oh,
line
hey.
of text.
Go away, garbage. Shift click.
Right.
Actually, 500. That's 1,000. This is 395, which is 750.
If I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you. I know what I would do here.
Like this trinket
Yeah.
seems real good with anyone who can stun.
But it's got minus speed.
Yeah.
Oof.
We know minus speed is the best stat.
It's too late. You cannot go back for
It's
that.
okay. Okay, so
Yay!
dungeons. Do you want to go back, or do you want to push this party who is very
Very
much
dead.
afraid? They're very
Dead.
dead.
They're extremely dead.
Yeah.
They
Let's
need to
get
go
the hell
sit
out of here.
Okay.
in a cloister somewhere.
Let's go have a beer.
There's a great
Find
sense of
all
relief
manner
from
of
seeing
great,
that victory screen at the end of a long
things in
dungeon.
this watery tomb.
All right, let's go back to the tavern. We'll get some nachos. Right?
I don't think they have nachos in the Hamlet, Cameron.
Well, we can bring that technology to them.
Hey.
Hey,
So, what'd you get? Open up your booster packs.
Macy got the Natophobia. Duval got Deadly. Fucking sick. And Corey got Skilled Gambler.
You're good at gambling.
Yeah, is this town worth saving if they don't have
The
nachos?
long years may seek to separate them. Action and consequence will invariably
This is a DLC.
have their
Normally, I would
reunion.
recommend people first playing through this game to not play with any DLC enabled, just to play through the base game.
Is it like XCOM where it adds a lot of interesting depth for veteran players and new players are like, I have no idea what's going on?
The Court is the best DLC that this game has to offer, but it's also the hardest
All right.
and the most confusing.
Okay, well, let's see. The guild.
Make no
Oh, we can
mistake.
train people?
Yes.
We will face ever greater threats. Our soldiers must be ready.
Well, hold on. Let's see who's here. A new crusade, a grave robber, an occultist.
You get space to recruit too.
What do you do? Pick to the face. I mean, that would do it. Armor piercing, lunge, 20 damage versus blighted. Oh, they're combo attacks.
Yeah.
Stealth for 2 rounds. 80% damage plus 4 crit plus 2 dodge. Move back. Oh, neat.
People say, oh, the occultist. Ugh.
Nobody likes the occultist.
I hate the occultist, but that's because I play Torches of Blood Moon. And the occultist is a healer,
Yeah.
but their healing skill can heal for 0.
That's illegal.
It heals from 0 to, like, if
Is
you
it
click,
really
click on the
healing?
occultist
If
and the stitch, so if you look at the stitch, 0 to 13. And it can bleed the person. So you can have someone on death's door, they can heal for 0 and
And then
bleed
bleed them.
and then they die.
And then you're just like, oh, Butterfingers.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, from a flavor standpoint, they're just like stitching you up,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, whoops, like they
Yeah.
catch
while
you.
you're
or something.
fighting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, don't swing too hard, and you're like, I ripped my stitches out.
Oh my god, what's this purple thing? The purple thing was a femoral artery.
Oops. Oops, whoops.
Oops, whoops. Butterfingers.
But it's such like an interesting take, like, on the healer. Because, like,
Yeah.
the occultist is, like, very offensive-minded. Like, a lot of... I like the occultist in rank 2. Rank 2 occultist is probably, like, the where I like to put him. Because he has one of the best stuns in the game. It's just that his
Yeah.
heal is less than reliable.
I mean, is it better to think of the occultist as like a debuffer that when you really need it,
Yeah. I generally try to pair him with somebody that can at least heal for like 1 guaranteed if somebody's gonna die.
So, like,
Right,
the Plague
right.
Doctor.
Well, Plague Doctor, Crusader can
Yeah,
do
but
it.
like it seems like
Arbalest can do
the bonuses versus like Blight and stuff
To
like
fight
that
the abyss,
play well.
one must
against
Also
that.
one of my favorite classes. is the
Hellion?
Hellion, yeah.
And this is the one that can only move forward.
Yes. She's awesome.
Ooh, bleeds. Breakthrough. Minus 10% damage, minus 1% speed. But just like
So
the blenders,
it
the
puts
front
you
three.
puts
yeah.
you forward. She dashes forward 1 and hits the front 3.
What's her defense like? Max HP, dodge
good.
10.
Prot,
Okay.
Nothing. Yeah.
She's a barbarian.
Okay.
A lot of HP, hits hard, not incredibly mobile, but
Right.
has like a mobility move that can kind of help.
Plus
some.
4 speed on first round.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the team, Vivers.
barbaric rage and unrelenting savagery make for a powerful ally.
Ooh. Oh, this is the
It's
blacksmith.
the 67 death blow save.
The
It's
bellows
their
blast
chance
once
to
again.
live.
The forge
Their
stands
chance to
ready
resist
Oh.
the death is
weapons of
67%.
war.
So
Okay.
when somebody dies, it's their 33% chance to die.
Okay, well let's try to mitigate some stress here.
What restrictions are you looking at?
We want Macy and Corey
Alright.
to be healed.
And you know that Macy and Corey can go. You can even tell they can go in every one
Yep.
just by clicking on them.
Yeah.
All 3 of them can go in every one.
Okay. Well, we'll send Macy to be flagellated. Linvey can go and pray, and Corey can go in into the cloister.
You have to click on
meditate.
the. You have to click
Check
on the
mark.
check mark. Yeah. But it's also expensive. Like you just spent 3,000.
3,000 gold.
Yeah.
Just like half.
Oh,
of
but
what
we
you
could have
got.
sent Corey to the tavern to gamble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No, you
that's
couldn't
true.
have.
Oh,
The caretakers. Caretaker gotcha.
this fucking guy. This
grab a glass
fucking
of
guy.
Love this game. Jeez.
This fucking guy.
And then only got 5 of those deeds, so you can't upgrade the cart with that upgrade you wanted to do.
Yeah. Blacksmith upgrades weapons and armor. Excuse me. So we should probably take Phantasmi and Lucy as our healers in the next.
In the next round.
One.
Okay. So
Um,
what about upgrading like Cameron or Adam?
Yeah, maybe. Because Cameron tanks. I like Duval a lot. This is a fun character.
Oh, the jester.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can also unlock more abilities too, right?
Yeah.
Is that what the training does?
Yeah. The blacksmith is you can't use it until you upgrade it once,
Okay.
which you don't really have to worry about right this minute.
But is this one of the ones where you want to upgrade the furnace first to reduce the cost of everything else?
Well, they can only upgrade when they're level 1, right?
Oh, okay.
Like
Oh,
your character
right,
has to be
yes,
level 1,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
need to be able to. First, you need to upgrade the blacksmith, which means we need deeds.
Mm-hmm.
And the character also has to be level 1
Right.
to even get the first blacksmith upgrade. But this is where you need to decide how many deeds do I want to take, because money, it costs money too, and it's expensive to upgrade people. So you
Yeah,
want
like
to be
8
able to upgrade.
deeds and 8.
Yeah, but also money-wise, because it costs money on top of that to upgrade them. So when we go into dungeons in the future, we know we need deeds, right?
Yeah.
We need at least 16 deeds.
Oh, but this we can.
Yeah.
This is not that expensive. Well, I mean, at least we have the things
We have the
available.
things.
Yeah.
Every creature has a weakness. The wise hero trains for what he will face.
So this is my tip. Before you go into a dungeon, before we decide who's getting upgraded, we'll get out of here, and we'll actually go check out the quests that we can embark on.
Oh,
So if
yeah,
you go-
yeah.
go
See
to
what's
this,
necessary, or what we can get away
what
without.
we can do. I would suggest that we, just for the sake of the stream, that we go into the Weald, because I would like to see it. I would like to show, like, I mean, it's a
Creatures
short
and
dungeon, which
bandits.
works out. Short is
Yep.
great.
Level 1 dungeon.
Okay, so we can take in more of our lower level characters.
Yeah.
Probably take in Bostel, Vivers, Lucy, and maybe Phantasmi? Or no, we need a tank.
Or
Well-
you take like Cameron in.
See, the thing is, this game doesn't work like tanks, right?
Okay.
Because anybody can be attacked at any time.
Right, yes, yeah.
What you want to think about when you're building a party is, can I hit every row of any enemy formation?
Right.
Because I need to be able to deal with any problem that comes my way. Sometimes you're going to want to kill the front row really fast. More often than not, you're going to want to kill the back row as fast as possible. Or at least be able to stun them.
Do we want Ben to grab us coffee?
I am good. I've already had a vat of Tim Hortons coffee today.
I could
Yeah.
use a coffee.
Okay.
I'm
That's
okay.
One coffee. Black.
Black? Okay. Okay, so let's look at things. I want to bring in lower level people here.
Yeah. I would suggest
Swapping the placement.
putting the Hellion in the front line. Because if you look at the Hellion, generally
Yeah.
she likes the front. She likes to be in the very front because
Yeah.
Iron Swan is one of her best ability. That second ability, and it hits only the back row, but only if she's in the front.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
cool.
And also a lot of her stuff moves forward, so if you're putting someone else in front of her, then she'll
The
block
more
them.
her shuffle, like her shuffle ability is like insurance in case your party gets surprised. A lot of like characters, like I will just have abilities like that on there, or they have abilities like that on there. It's just like insurance to kind of move them around when things get bad. But generally, you want the way you set up your party in the beginning is kind of how you want to set them up. I would maybe take that Highwayman because I want to show you the power of an ability called Riposte.
Okay. And we know
Okay.
the Highwayman, likes being in here.
Yeah, he already has it learned actually.
Yeah.
Duelist Advance is like abilities that let you attack out of turn are incredibly powerful. Because I talked about this thing called a move economy.
So you
in
get
the
like a
game.
free turn.
Yeah, well, not
Yeah.
a free turn, but just like
A
I mean,
free-
riposte means that whenever he gets attacked, he makes a counter attack at 40% of the damage he normally does.
So, okay, so maybe the attack doesn't do a whole lot of damage on its own,
Yeah,
but
but it's
every
free.
time, and
Every time he gets attacked, even if he dodges it, he attacks back.
you can get attacked up to 4 times per turn.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
yeah.
Okay, let's.
But-
and then these two, because Riposte moves forward one, or Duelist Advance moves forward one. So these two can like dance back and forth.
Well, the only problem is like you don't want to do it with the Hellion because her ability, if you look at it, it debuffs you.
Right.
Minus 10% damage and 1 per speed. But if we go back out, if this is the party we're taking, go back out to this estate and go to the guild.
Guild.
Yeah. And then if you click up here at the top right, sort by activity, it'll put everybody that's on your party at the top of the
Okay.
list. So if you scroll up,
Yeah, and
click
they all
on
have that badge.
click on the Highwayman, and then you want to buy a pistol shot.
Okay.
So point blank shot says it can be used in the front row against the front row, but it knock back.
Oh, so you can actually like.
He can shuffle himself around. Sorry, excuse me.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you duelist advance forward, and then you pistol shot backwards, he can kind of just keep going back and forth on his own.
Oh, this is wild. Okay. Heroes can only
Oh,
have 4
jeez.
combat skills at a time. Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So Bostel can only have 4.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is what I mean about like once they're so slow about in this game about giving you the ability to have access to all these skills because it feels like a bit much, right? You're like, what do I do? Which skills are good? And this game just like promotes playing around with stuff.
But like seeing that huge field of upgrades that you can get for skills for on a single character is just
Yeah.
like, now I'm really curious. I'm like, what
Yeah.
are these?
How does it work? What do I want? What's good?
okay. Oh wait, marked target. Who had bonuses against a marked target? Was it Bostel?
Pistol shot.
Pistol shot. Yeah. Okay. So we can use Lucy to mark something, and and then blow it away. That looks fun.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you want to? Let's try it.
Yeah, try it.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Trust me, a lot of people think that when they watch someone play this game, or like they feel like there's like this air. It's kind of like Dark Souls, where people think that it's harder than it actually is. It's played up too
Well,
much,
but-
and there's just like
People are taught that dying in video games is a bad thing.
yes, and in this game, it's a fine thing. It's gonna
Same in
happen.
Dark Souls. It's
Yeah.
like it's part of
It's
playing
part
the
of
game.
the process. Like
Yeah.
everybody is gonna like lose sometimes, and I think that our culture as the video game culture is we are taught that you are a bad human being if you die
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a video game, and then just like not only just like that, but you are a bad gamer for whatever
It's like you're poorly skilled or
Yeah.
stupid or
that. And
Yeah.
it's not true, and I
No.
just think that we need to get away from that. You need to stop being like people just need to play a video game and fail at it and
Yeah.
and struggle against it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I had my mom over like a couple years ago, and I was like, "Here, play Fez," and
Yeah.
then she was like really nervous about it, and then she fell and died, and it just respawned her back on the platform, and she cried.
Yeah.
She was so relieved that the game wasn't like punishing her
Yeah.
for this misstep, this very like, oops, misjudged a platform.
Yep. Okay. Question.
Yeah.
This stun is really good,
Yes.
Right?
It's absurd.
but it only works from the first 2 points.
Yes. So this is where you need to decide what you want to do. But this party doesn't really work that well with the cultists in rank 2.
Yeah.
Because the way that you want to do things doesn't allow you to have that convenience. Like you could theoretically switch some characters out, but I think like you're fine. But the stun is really good. It's kind of useless. You could buy another skill to like offset the fact that you don't have the stun, right? Like you could still get back out and rearrange your skills on the occultist.
Right.
Torches.
It's just a short, so you probably only need 8.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think doing stuff like this when you're first started playing is completely fine. You can just buy a little bit of everything, just figure out what works. But there is like a certain setup for every dungeon that you can have to give you the optimal like curio investigation.
Yeah.
But I think this is good.
All right. And I mean, this really strikes me as a thing where I want to be like, I would go home and figure it out and play around with it and actually write things down because that's how I learn. Right? Like, what didn't I use?
Yeah.
Right? What? Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm trying to drive home to people is that when you play this
Corruption
game,
has soaked the
please
soil,
just try to do it
sapping
without
all the
looking at
life
anything.
from these groves.
And I know it's hard.
Let us burn out this evil.
Scooting. Oh, 2 curios.
Make a scoot.
I will. One
Scooty
battle.
Puff Chew. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Those can die.
yeah. I don't like any of
I
those
don't like
things.
big bugs.
Okay.
So there's another fight in this game that's 4 spiders. That's just as scary as Quad Grouper, but for different reasons. Because there are spiders that will mark your party, and then the green spiders can attack marked targets for a ton of damage, and they put a blight on things.
Okay. So
So
speed
just like
8,
huge damage
speed
multiplication.
7, speed 6. Why did you get to go first?
They roll
Yeah.
a d8.
Sorry,
Oh,
I
she
should have.
roll a d8, add
Add
the thing.
speed.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
I should have told you too that when you interact with a curio, afterwards, once you figure out which item is good at interacting with it, it tells you in future
Oh.
interactions.
Will it like auto?
It highlights
or
like in your
it'll highlight?
inventory. I'll try to show you. I totally forgot to bring that up, but also a good thing to promote discovery. It's like, oh, okay, well now that you know, you don't have to remember every time you do it, like from memory.
85, damage mod 35.
Oh, and she can't use the swan because there's not 4.
Yeah, there's nothing in the back line.
Okay.
It literally can only hit the 4th line, but it just
Executed
gives
with
you
impunity.
the power in this game is again being able to handle any situation that the game throws at
Yeah.
you. And generally, when I build parties, that's how I like to build them. So I will only use a certain number of classes.
To the pit.
But when you're playing on darkest, like normal difficulty with torches, just take
Seize
everything.
this momentum.
Play with everything,
Push
figure it
on to
out,
the task's
and you'll figure out
end.
things that you like, and figuring out a way to make them work. And I think that this is where the game is at its most beautiful. It's like you can kind
Right.
of, you literally can do anything you want in this game,
Right.
and it all works, which is very hard to do. I'm assuming from it, like
Yeah, oh
you
yeah.
design games,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like I don't know. I from a game standpoint, I'm like I like it when a game lets me do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how hard that is to do.
Pain in the ass.
From a
It
mechanical.
depends. It really depends on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
But like this game, you can if you're hesitant about trying this game out because you think it's too much, you can literally do anything you want on the darkest difficulty. Anything you want. And I think that for a lot of video, I think that it feels like games are trending in that direction. It seems
well,
recently.
okay, so like the random elements
Yeah.
in this game seem to sort of force you into more of a versatile play style.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, this is the optimal party setup. Like you can try to force what you like.
Yeah.
But
That's not normal.
the game's still gonna like randomly curse you.
Yeah. We still haven't camped. I didn't really
Yeah.
force you to do a medium dungeon. But what I was saying before, where like the players don't, these characters don't necessarily trust each other. That really becomes apparent when you're camping.
Right.
And they say stuff like, I don't trust you to keep watch, or
Yeah.
they can stress each other out just by sitting around and saying certain
Spiders.
things.
Here we go.
Ah, quad spiders.
So it has a higher crit.
Yeah.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Feels good, man. Resisted the bleed, huh?
So that's the mark. Yeah.
So, 10
Ooh.
damage, see? Yeah.
Yeah.
And a
then
blade.
And a
Yeah.
blade. Holy shit.
So if you look at their abilities, you can see, okay, the spit doesn't, oh, I thought it told you if it did damage against marked targets, but it doesn't.
Okay.
Does that laudanum take blight off, or is that just herbs?
Anti-venom does.
Anti-venom. Okay.
A singular strike.
What? I would advise Duelist events.
Oh, okay.
I want you to see if the power of this, if they attack the other Duelist.
Hero is
Blade.
blighted. All right. Plague Doctor can do it.
Now you could just break through and go full, right?
Yep. I mean, we've got 2 targets here with a lot of damage on them. It's marked.
Their formation is broken.
It's a game.
Easy game.
Maintain the offensive.
You could try to
You could try to heal.
I could try to heal.
It's already blighted.
Um,
What's a little bleed on top?
there you go.
Yes.
and then this was marked. Oh, but we're in the wrong place. So,
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
easy game.
Yeah. It's a fat stack of gold, too.
Easy game.
So, see, you know, if you use a key on that, it
Oh.
tells you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Now that
Now that
we've
you know,
done it.
yeah, now that you've
If
done it,
only treasure could
going
staunch the
forward, you will
flow
know which
of
curios interact
otherworldly
with it.
corruption.
Oh, we
Or
weren't
want
able
to
to
reshuffle
scout.
your party, too.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Just in time.
Trip Spider.
Spider, baby.
Putting bleeds on 2 of them seems good on a surprise round.
It's only one, because it's not linked, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can target either of those.
Yeah.
Another one falls.
Ha!
Kill it.
It bleeded.
No back row.
Yeah, no back row.
Gold farming? Yeah, there is a certain character that we didn't find. which I think is another brilliant like design choice. There's a character called, oh my god, what's her name? The Antiquarian,
Ah,
who is designed to be shitty in combat.
but good at selling stuff.
No,
This
she
advantage.
finds
Give them
different
no
curios
quarter.
that sell for more money at the end of the dungeon.
Riposted.
See?
Heck yeah.
See how powerful that is? Like, the game just
Right.
yeah, right? In a game that is about making decisions and every choice matters, Riposte kind of takes that away
Yeah.
a little bit. Like, that's how powerful it is. And abilities that hit multiple characters, if Riposte is active and he's one of those characters, he'll counterattack. So there are certain fights where a boss will attack your whole party. If you have a Riposte active, they're going to take a bunch of free damage.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them
This rules.
all.
Yeah, this game's good.
Game is good.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you? A totally
Friendly.
normal tree.
Friendly tree.
Thorny
Make sure,
thicket.
make sure you click on the
victim
yeah.
to this
There you
flame
go.
of corruption.
If you click on the hand, you'll force the interaction.
Ah, thank
because
you.
the item-
Coffee's arrived. Yes.
If you click on the hand, that's bad. Because then you basically make your party dig
Right.
through it barehanded. That's why they get
Manually, yeah.
stressed out, right?
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
But like, there's so obviously an incredible amount of love and detail put
Yeah.
into this game, and it shows. You know, it's
What
just
have
like
you
I've
done
been
to
playing
me,
through
Adam?
Borderlands 3, and Borderlands 3 is very obviously a product of like there's a lot of love and attention put into it, and it's just like it's funny how obviously you guys play a lot of like you look at games on a deeper level than normally what I would. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Wealth
a pretty
beyond
basic
measure.
gamer as far as things are concerned, but
Awarded
like
to the
there's
brave and the foolhardy alike.
I don't know what you did.
I clicked on the X instead of the.
Cancel the torch.
Yeah. But you can tell when there's a lot of love and care put into a
Lie
game,
in wait.
and this game screams that,
Unsprung
I
and
think,
thirsting
I agree.
on
for
every
blood.
facet,
Yeah.
like everything, the art, animations, the setting, mechanically, like how it works. Yeah, like triple spider.
Okay.
Like you don't often get like cohesive art design in a game that people were like slapping together.
Yeah.
So that's a first really good indicator.
Oh, that was
Do
probably
you
dumb.
want to load up the notifications tab?
Yep.
We got like 10 minutes left. Down to the bottom of the green.
2 damage, 4 damage. Okay,
Yes.
that one's gone.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Faint evil cackle.
Oh, hi, Mark. Whoa.
What you
All
gonna
right,
do
buddy.
with that spider?
Hold this down. Hold it. You're dead.
Be wary.
Actively gaming.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Yeah, I don't think this game is for everyone, but I definitely think that you can still just appreciate how well put together this game is.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Doges.
That's bad. That's also bad.
Yeah. So the dogs have a speed of 8.
Right.
Fast. Yeah, you can swan it.
Yeah, let's swan it. Get swanned.
At least they only have a health of 10.
Rabies.
What is that?
It doesn't appear on the debuff thing.
It's a disease, so if you check your character panel, bottom right,
Minus 10 accuracy, plus 15 damage. Oh,
Huh.
will it kill me in a couple of days?
nope,
It just
it
lives
just
with you.
stays forever.
So squishy.
Cam versus dogs is even more iconic rivalry. So have you tried healing yet with the occultist?
No. Oh, cool, it works.
Yeah.
It's like, and here is the button we never push.
Impressive.
I
resisted the rabies. See, like stuff like rabies, where it looks bad on the surface, on certain classes, I like having rabies. Like if a highwayman gets rabies, I'll try to leave it on him because riposte, that's just so much damage, right?
Yeah.
And the -10 accuracy is so easily offset by items that you can get later in the game that 15% damage goes a lot farther than -10 accuracy. Or like a Hellion, I like Hellions having rabies. Other classes, no, I'll usually wipe it off. Like a Plague Doctor, yeah, I don't want a Plague Doctor missing. Because it's harder to get accuracy on a Plague Doctor than it is like a Highwayman or a Hellion. That's, again, the thing that once you, on first surface level, a lot of the stuff in this game is like, oh, that's bad. But as you play more, you realize, oh, it's actually not bad for everyone.
Have you ever played
Making the best of a bad situation.
NetHack?
Played what?
NetHack?
No.
Okay.
Why?
You might like
Breathless
NetHack.
Okay.
Yeah.
injury, palpable fear.
This is probably fine.
That was a fat heel.
Don't get greedy, Cameron.
And damage. So, a thing to notice. Did you notice that there was no bleed check
As
there?
victories
Yeah.
A thing to notice.
so too will
Riposte.
resistance.
If the creature dies to riposte, any effects that were going to take place when if that creature dies don't happen.
Oh, it fizzles like
yes,
the bleed.
and that's why
the-
riposte is super powerful. So like he got attacked, it died to the riposte. If it had crit or something, he'd still take the stress damage, but you don't eat the bleed. Another reason why riposte is broken in this game.
But we could continue adventuring.
But we have to end
We
the
got 5
stream.
minutes. Yeah, we gotta end
Oh.
the stream, Cameron.
But what if?
The agents of
So you
pestilence
guessed
will
it
yet
on
be driven
Talking
from our
Sim.
woods.
Yeah.
What if? What if I guessed it on Let's Know?
Yeah, we just played this. Yeah. Now I gotta play Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Cameron.
no, that's fair. All right. Okay. Oh, Christ. Let's open my booster packs.
Yeah, open the booster bags. So the thing I would do with my Twitch chat was make them
Relatable.
guess.
Oh,
I would
yeah,
say, I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
you could guess which trait they were gonna get, and if you guessed any one of the traits I got, I VIP'd you to my chat. Like it was just a little
Okay,
thing for
okay,
like,
okay.
yeah. It was a fun little game
Plus
that we
10%
played.
stress. So is there any way to remove? Our Plague Doctor now has rabies,
Yes.
so that's going to eventually fill up her mask with foam.
Yeah. There
At
is
which
a way,
point I
there
assume
is a way
she-
to cure that.
Okay.
And I think you unlock it this week.
Okay.
She has paid dearly for her freedom. That deserves
So this is like if you hadn't run into
this
a.
place.
This is like a guaranteed spawn that happens on a week to get the shield breaker because
Okay.
she was like a DLC class.
Oh,
And if you
okay.
hadn't seen one in the wagon,
RNG,
then there
right.
was a, yeah. If you didn't get the RNG,
People
to
get
one-
mad if they miss your DLC.
Yeah.
People get mad.
Okay, this is. Oh, okay. Wow, the stress is actually pretty significant.
Yeah.
Or the stress reduction. Wow. Okay. So take a like. I was expecting it to be like removed 5 stress.
No, it's nothing that bad.
Okay. Yeah. No, we're back on our feet.
So yeah,
quite
this
easily.
week you did unlock the sanitarium that lets you cure diseases
Okay.
and negative quirks. So you can actually clear off stuff like the real bad ones.
Okay.
Like you can take off nervous. You can lock in positive traits. You can do stuff
Ooh,
like that. You can
okay.
lock that
That's
in. Like, it'd be
expensive.
fun. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's very powerful. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
All
We
right.
made
well,
it.
Let's thank subs.
Yeah.
Thank you for. First off, huge thanks to Adam for being on this.
Thanks for having
and
me.
going through. what-
Hopefully, you got something out of it. I don't know.
No,
if you
like
did.
I think it's like our most interesting streams are the ones where we have or we talk about why we like the games we like.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that we often take for granted. It's like, well, I really like this game. Well, why? Well, it's fun,
Yeah.
right? But what makes a successful game successful, and what makes you feel like your time is respected and that your expertise is being, or that you're developing some kind of expertise in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like growing and learning.
Yeah. All right. Well, Original Garwolf came back for the 32nd month. This sub is brought to you by Darkest Dungeon Hotel and Mental Hospital. Come for the adventure, stay for the therapy.
Carissus, 35-month resub. Thank you.
GamerCat88, thank you for the 17-month resub.
Aurelian 2773 has come back for the 33rd month. Thank you.
Conspiracy of Cartographers, 65-month resub. Yonder, a glint of gold.
Kilren Cray with the 45-month resub. Welcome back.
Fragile Paper came back for the 29th month. You should reshoot the intro.
Magic Music Squid, 245 bits. Love Diablo Talking Sim. Hyped to have Adam back.
Malkaresh with the 47-month resub. Hi.
Earthen One gave us 100 bits, saying Subway 100 bonus 10 today. Today I'm celebrating my birthday watching Lure and notifying you that the fact by giving you some Bezos and Subway money. Happy birthday.
Treyon, 40 months. The Boshi takes on his hardest challenge, seeming smart for 3 consecutive hours. Kappa.
Yeah. Super Fluffy Kitty with the 9-month resub. See you on YouTube. Sha. Suck it.
Lime and Coconut came back for the 7th month.
Peru 64, 2-month resub.
The Canardian, 35-month resub. I adore Corey Shirts. Raccoon does nom donut. Yes, he does.
Master 2505 came back for the 18th month. 18 months, let's dive into some dark dungeons.
Forsh, 67 months. So, Torchless Blood Moon, yeah?
Dreaming of a Wolf with the brand new sub. Welcome, friend.
Rake X has come back for the 57th month. Behold the infinite malignity of the stars.
God, such a good
The
line.
Darium for 18 months. Happy double baby.
Freakazoid, 2-month resub. Yay, talking sim.
Romanian Maya Scutcheon came back for the 52nd month. Oh god, why?
Mass Lost, 4 months. 4 months down, lifetime to go.
50 McNasty with 36-month resub. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Luminaire P came back for the 34th month. Hey Lumi, thanks.
A Johnny Boy 533, 5 months. Ooh, a button.
Maximus Time with a 25-month resub. Welcome back.
Blue Danube is continuing their gift sub from the Maricat. Thank you.
Oh. The Anti-Muffin, 100 bits. Welcome, Professor Adam of the Darkest Academy.
Flannel Shirt Enthusiast, 31-month resub. Welcome back.
Dr. McBoop came back for the 33rd month, saying less than 3.
Sardis 502 is a continuing gift sub they got from Lord Ink Death.
Crazy Grinder 22 with a 23-month resub. Welcome back.
Dr. Dracnon came back for the 14th month. Thank you.
Zarashi, 34 months. When are we getting Adam's Darkest Dungeon tutorials?
Maybe soon. BT Edda, thank you, friend, for the 48-month resub. Onward to 5 years.
Putu of Paradise came back for the 22nd month. Thank you.
Is Robot Ninja subscribed for 2 months? Well, that happened.
Claire McGee with the 11-month resub. Welcome back.
Farniel came back for the 5th month, saying, love you guys.
Demigod Chaos subscribed for 30 months. Thank you.
Dezinkled with the 6-month resub. Thanks to the best group of people on the internet.
No Name 09 has come back for the 5th month. Thank you.
Commander Rudd, 87, 20-month resub.
Basis Requiem with the brand new sub. Welcome, friend.
Chris 365 came back for the 8th month. Yay, Darkest Dungeon, let the stress begin.
Cortanio, 60 months. I think that's 5 years, so I have onomatophobia, but only from my username.
Malbean with the 38-month resub. Hi, Adam and Talksim crew. Glad to hear your thoughts on the game after your torches run. The Frogurt is also cursed.
Variable came back for the 69th month. Nice.
Butts, subscribe for 21 months.
Undead Meat with the 35 months.
Night Echo 06 came back for the 32nd month. Silently, this is how a gift sub is given.
Witherman, X27, 8-month resub. Welcome back.
Appleshy Jedi with the 27-month resub. Welcome back.
Zarashi has given us 100 bits.
And then another 100 bits for Well Done Cameron.
Tier skill.
Draja128 with the 8-month resub. Love the work, guys. Keep it up.
Eclipsion came back for the 69th month. Good. Nice.
Avagrimus, 5 months. See you guys in the VOD.
Alexandum123 with the 9-month resub. Welcome back.
Mr. Hawk has come back for the 30th month. Thank you.
Chronicler C, 66 months with that big brain.
Harvester369 gifted 2 subs to Zephyr256K and Blast Shark.
Lord of the Lights came back for the 31st month, saying yay for more Darkest Dungeon.
And Zento69 his with 50 bits for Yay Squad. Thanks for being you. You're welcome.
DJ H Gaming with the 1,000 bits. Wait, thanking subs?
WizKing1 came back for the 3rd month. Thank
Not
you.
Kane nor Able, 500 bits. Thank you all. Great stream. Fun to watch Adam gush.
Great Googly with the 30-month resub. Welcome back.
NK Cola came back for the 8th month. Where's Omnath? Also, I bet you're loving having Adam with you on the stream. Or is it a trick of the light? No, it's great. It's great.
And girl paintings with 16 months, glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Quotes. And Chaka 1977, the 7-month resub. You three are awesome, and I want Adam teaching all the new games. No worries. All right.
All right. Well, we have to wrap it up here, and Adam will be right back in like 2 minutes with
Apparently Resident Evil and not
Yeah.
More Darkest Dungeon.
All right. But thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back next week with. What are we doing next week?
We're working it out.
You heard it here first, folks. We're playing Working It Out next week.
Oh, is that
So-
an actual game?
No.
No.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.